teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Magandang araw! Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello! BETU full afternoon sa ating lahat. Sa mga tumututok ngayon mula sa kanilang mga tahanan or sa mga kayo naroroon, welcome to ETULay. So today is February 26, 2021. Huling Friday na po ng buwan at ramdam na natin yung init, no? Kasi paparating na yung March, so magsa-summer na. At nais kong batiin ang ating first to comment sa ating live for this session, si Miss Marlene Mangyat Buslon. Good afternoon po, Miss Marlene. At today's, dahil nga huling Friday na, so nasa week 8 na tayo ng ating pag-aaral ng mga lessons sa grade 6 math. At ang ating tatalakayin sa oras nito ay ang basic operations on integers. Hello, Miss Kylie Buslon. Magnanay ba kayo ni Marlene? Hello. So last session, na-introduce natin yung operations, which particularly yung addition and subtraction by using of algebra tiles. So this time, mag-multiply na tayo at mag-divide ng integers and at the same time, mag-add and subtract using the number line and using the rules. Okay, so let's get started. So i-ready natin ang ating pivot module, pages 32 hanggang page 36. Okay. So inunang i-discuss dyan ang multiplication sa division. So M or D lang yan. So M or D. Kasi mas madaling matandaan ang kanilang rule. Okay, dalawa lang kasi ang case dyan. So case 1, like signs. Okay? So pag sinabing like signs, tumutukoy ito sa dalawang numbers. Okay? Pareho ang kanilang sign. So pag pinag-multiply, o pag divide natin ang dalawang numbers na parehas ang sign, okay, the result is always positive. Okay? So it means positive times positive is positive. Negative times negative is also positive. Similarly, positive over positive is still positive, while negative over negative is also positive. So, ibig sabihin, basta parehas ang sign, kaya parehong positive, kaya parehong negative, ang magiging result, ang magiging product, o ang magiging quotient ay positive. Okay, so kapag, okay, case 2 tayo. So, case 2, unlike signs. Yan. So, sa case 2, pag unlike ang signs, hindi parehas ang sign, okay, so nung dalawang numbers na minumultiply o dinidivide, ang result ay magiging negative. So, ibig sabihin, positive times negative or negative times positive ay negative. And then, or negative times positive nga ay negative. And then, positive over negative, saka negative over positive, dahil hindi nga parehas ang sign ng mga numbers, the result will always be negative. Okay, so magkaroon tayo ng example. So I will be lifting examples from the learning task on page 33 under yung D. So we have here 8 examples. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hanggang 7, 8, 9, 10. So yung first 4, multiplying integers, yung next 4, dividing integers. Okay, so let's have 4 times negative 3. So yung sign muna ang ating magiging focus. So, ang 4 at negative 3 hindi parehas ang sign, tama? Ibig sabihin, their product should be negative. And then, let's multiply the absolute value of the factors. Okay, we have positive 4 and negative 3 as factors. And the absolute value of these are 4 and 3 respectively. So when we say absolute value, yan yung distance ng integer from 0 on the number line. So yung positive 4, ang layo niya from 0 ay 4 units. So 4 ang absolute value niya. Ang negative 3, ang layo niya from 0 on the number line ay 3 units or 3 yung absolute value niya. So 4 times 3 is 12. So ibig sabihin, 4 times negative 3 ay negative 12. So tama si Miss Akisla Ariola. Okay, negative 12. Next. Siyempre, dito familiar na familiar tayo dapat. Kasi, noong lower grades natin, okay, hinasa tayo mag-multiply ng whole numbers. Tama? So, parehong positive. So, when we do not see the sign of the integer, automatically, positive. So, pero lang siyempre pag 0. So, walang sign ng 0, tama? Pero, it's neither positive nor negative. So, walang sign ng 0. So, 6 times 6, parehong positive. So, ibig sabihin, the result is also positive. So when the product is positive, we need not write the positive sign or plus sign. So positive 36 or simply 36. Okay, next. Number 3, parehong negative. Kaya may sagot na si Roberto Jardeliza. Positive 20, that's correct. So negative 4 times negative 5, since parehong negative, the result should be positive. Easy, baby. So parehong positive. Yan. And then, absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So, 4 times 5, 20. So, positive 20 or simply write 20, 20. Okay, last example for multiplying integers. 8 times negative 2, hindi na naman parehas, okay, ang sign ng mga numbers na minumultiply. Therefore, negative ang magiging result. And then, multiply the absolute values of 8 and negative 2. So you should multiply 8 and 2, and you should get 16. So the product is negative 16. Yeah. So before we go to this next set of divide, okay, let me give muna item number 5. Sige nga, what if meron tayong tatlong numbers or integers na pag-multiply? Let's have negative 7 times negative 1 times 4. Sige nga, what is the product when you multiply these 3 integers, negative 7, negative 1, and 4, which is positive. Okay? So tama yung mga sumagot ng negative 16. Yes, keep them coming. Okay, so my question now is, what is the product or what is the result when you multiply negative 7, negative 1, and positive 4? Yes, we have an answer already from Vanessa May Real. Tama siya. And Roberto Jordiliza ulit. Positive dapat kasi negative times negative, positive. So yung dalawa muna. So positive yung result. O times another positive. That means positive times positive. So dapat positive ang magiging sagot. And then, multiply the absolute values, 7, 1, and 4. That will give you 28. So positive 28 ang sagot or simply 28. So very good yung mga sumagot ng 28 sa mga sumagot ng negative 28. Sige, 1/2 point. Or, ano ba? 0.25 point para sa tinta. Okay, or para sa pag-comment. Alright. Next. Let's move naman dun sa ating 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, dividing integers. Okay. So we apply the same rule. Kapag parehas ang sign, like sa number 7, number 7 na may parehas na sign. So, negative 6 divided by negative 3. So, parehas ang sign ng dividend at divisor. That means the quotient should be positive. So, positive ano? So, divide their absolute value. So, 6 divided by 3. So, may sulat tayo sa, okay, from Alfredo Saladaga Donyo. Okay, tama yan, positive 2. Or simply, 2. Again, hindi na kailangan talagang isulat yung positive sign. Okay. Next, number 8, 9, and 10, you'll be seeing numbers, okay, na dinidivide natin pero magkaiba ang sign. So for number 8, we have negative 10 and positive 2. So what is the result when we divide negative 10 by 2? So, negative ang magiging sagot, definitely, because magkaiba ang sign. What is the absolute value of negative 10? 10. What is the absolute value of 2? 2. So, divide 10 by 2, you'll get 5. Therefore, okay, tama yung sumagot ng negative 5. Si Akisha Ariola. Very good. And si John Roland Jumawande. Right, very good. Okay. Saan nagagaling yung mga sugot ng negative 2 or 2? Or, mukha bang 5 itong 2 ko? Sorry Okay, so, number 8, hindi. Okay, so yung mga 2 pala is nasa number 7. Pero dapat positive 2 ang sagot, tama? Kasi hindi, parehas ang sign, kaya dapat positive ang sagot. Okay, next. Number 9. 12 divided by negative 6. Baka advance sagot ng mga ito. Negative 2, tama si Roberto Jordiliza. So, again, hindi parehas ang sign. So, therefore, the result is again negative, kagaya ng sa number 8. And absolute value of 12 is 12. Absolute value of negative 6 is 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So, negative 2. Okay. Next, number 10. 24 divided by negative 8. Okay. So, tama si Alfredo Saladaga Donyo ulit. So, negative 3. Okay. So, dapat memorize natin yung ating multiplication table. Kasi, when you memorize the multiplication table, magiging madali na rin pag nag-divide tayo. So, 24 divided by negative 8 is negative 3. Okay, isa pa. What about if we divide, okay, 200 divided by negative 8 ulit. Sige nga. 200 divided by negative 8. Without using calculator dapat ha. What is the result when you divide 200 by negative 8? So definitely, negative dapat ang sagot. Okay? Kasi hindi parehas ang sign ng 200 at negative 8. Pero negative ano? What is the result when you divide 200 by negative 8? Sige, I'll be waiting for your comments. So negative blank. So what is the result when you divide 200 by negative 8? Okay, marunong na bang mag-divide ang mga grade 6 ng 3-digit by a single-digit number? So what is 200 divided by 8? So we'll be dividing lang yung absolute values kasi we already know the sign, which is negative. So wala pa tayong sagot yata. Okay, so what is 200 divided by 8? Their absolute values. The quotient of their absolute values is 20, 25. So ibig sabihin, 200 divided by negative 8 ay negative 25. So we'll be leaving this already. Balikan natin mamaya kung may time pa. So again, kapag nag-multiply, nag-divide, dalawang case lang yan. Case 1, case 2. Kapag parehas ang sign ng dalawang numbers, positive ang sagot. Kapag hindi parehas ang sign ng dalawang numbers na involved sa multiplication or division, the result is always negative. Okay, now let's proceed to addition and subtraction of integers. So we'll be using the number line muna bago natin i-master or malaman yung rule. So, draw muna ako ng number line. Kunwari straight na lang. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. Sensya na ha? Hindi ganun kalaki ng ating board. So, on our number line, we can see, okay, the number, or the integer 0 dividing, okay, the number line into, okay, the negative side and the positive side. Okay, let's have an example. How do we show, okay, so I'll be using lang dito mga numbers na ito. Let's say, negative 2 plus negative 1. Yan. So negative 2 plus negative 1. So how is this shown on the number line? So, ang negative 2, yan yung starting point natin. So, I'll be using this toy ng aking anak, SpongeBob. Okay. So we're going to position SpongeBob sa negative 2. Kung ito yung starting point. Now, dahil plus ang ating sign or ang operation like addition, ibig sabihin, SpongeBob has to face to the right. Yeah. So, kaya siya haharap. Okay. Now, dahil ang second addend natin ay negative, ibig sabihin, si SpongeBob dapat uurong siya. Ilan? Dahil negative 1 yung isa lang. So, urong siyang isa or step back 1. So, isa lang, ibig sabihin, mapupunta siya sa negative 3. Hindi sa maling tao, no? Joke lang. Negative 3. Yan, tama. Sa mga sumagot ng negative 3, ayan. So, advance sila, no? Ano nila yung rule? Okay, so negative 2 plus negative 1 ay negative 3. Okay, what about if we have 2 plus, pero negative ulit, negative 5. Yan. So 2 plus negative 5. So this time, positive ang ating starting point. Positive integer 2. So, dito natin po pwesto si SpongeBob sa positive 2. Again, dahil plus or addition ang ating operation, si SpongeBob dapat haharap sa kanya. Yan. At dahil ang second addend ay negative ulit, ibig sabihin si SpongeBob ay uurong ng 5 units. Okay? Sa number line. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, napunta siya sa negative 3. So, ibig lang sabihin yan, 2 plus negative 5 ay negative 3. Okay, next. What about negative 2 plus 2? Negative 2 ulit, no? Plus 2. So, again, i-pwesto natin, okay, sa starting position si SpongeBob, sa negative 2. At dahil plus niya, ibig sabihin, kailangan humarap sa kanan. Okay, next. Dahil positive naman ang second addend natin, which is positive 2, ibig sabihin, SpongeBob has to move 2 units to the right. Okay, so 1, 2. Ibig sabihin, ang sagot sa negative 2 plus 2 ay 0. Okay? So remember yung ating discussion last time, when you add, okay, inverses, you'll always get 0. So this is what you call inverse property of addition. Okay, next. Last na lang sa addition. What about if we have negative 3 plus 4? Yan. So negative 3 ang ating starting position yan. So we have to place SpongeBob doon sa negative 3. At dahil nga plus, addition yan, ibig sabihin, haharap ulit sa kanan si SpongeBob. At dahil positive yung 4, yung second addend, 4 units siyang hahakbang pa kanan. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So dito siya magtatapos sa 1. Ibig sabihin, negative 3 plus 4 ay positive 1. Okay, now, what do you notice about the results? Meron tayong sa number 1, parehas yung sign, and the rest, magkaiba na. So ito lang ang mayroong parehas na sign. Okay, so sa negative 1, parehas na negative yung sign, negative yung naging sagot. Sa 2, 3, and 4, Okay, hindi mga parehas ang sign, kaya ang naging sagot sa number 2, negative 3. Ito naman sa 3, 0. Sa 4, 1, which is positive. Okay? So, sa adding integers kasi, so when you add integers, okay, dalawa rin ang case niyan. Kapag like signs, okay, we have to copy the common sign and then affix, okay, the sum of the absolute values of the integers involved. So, positive plus positive ay positive. Negative plus negative ay negative. So, kagaya ng ating example, negative 2 plus negative 1. So, parehong negative ang addends. Ibig sabihin, the result should always or should also be negative. Tapos, in-add lang natin ang absolute value ng dalawang addends. So, negative 2 ang absolute value ay 2. Ang negative 1 ang absolute value ay 1. So, 2 plus 1, 3. Ibig sabihin, ang sagot ay negative 3. So, same thing goes kapag parehong positive. So, 8 plus 3. So, parehong positive, ibig sabihin the result is also positive but no need to write the positive sign. Then add their absolute values. Of course, we know this already. Dapat 8 plus 3 ay 11. Okay? So, that is case 1. Kapag parehas yung sign, copy the common sign and then add the absolute values of the numbers involved. Pero pagdating ng case 2, okay, unlike signs. Yan. Pagaya ng 2 and negative 5, negative 2 and positive 2, negative 3 and 4. Anong ginagawa natin kapag hindi parehas ang sign? Okay? We subtract absolute values. And then, copy the sign of the integer with greater absolute value. So, AB na lang. Again, dalawa lang ang steps. So, case 2, adding unlike signs. We subtract the absolute values and then copy the sign of the integer with greater absolute value. Ayan. By the way, singin ko muna pala ito. Mamaya na pala ito sa subtraction. Sorry. Okay, so, sa case na number 2, 2 plus negative 5. So, ang gagawin natin ay kunin yung absolute value ng mga numbers involved. So, absolute value of 2 ay 2. Absolute value of negative 5 ay 5. So, we subtract the absolute values. 2 and 5. Ano yung difference ng 2 and 5? 3. Yan. Kaya limit ako sa ating result ay 3. Pero bakit negative ang naging result natin? Kasi we have to copy the sign of the integer with greater absolute value, which means we have to compare. Ano ang mas may mataas na absolute value? Positive 2 or negative 5. So we see naman na mas mataas ang 5 sa 2. Ibig sabihin, mas mataas ang absolute value ng negative 5 sa positive 2. That is why we copy the negative sign. Again, we copy lang the sign of the one with the greater absolute value. Next, negative 2 and positive 2. So, ang negative 2 at positive 2, parehas ang absolute value niyan kasi parehas lang ang layo ng negative 2 at positive 2 from 0. Parehong 2 units. Ibig sabihin, the difference of 2 and 2 is 0. Ayan. Kapag 0 yung result, no need to, okay, to do the step 2 in case 2. Yung pagkakopy ng sign. Kasi pag 0, neither positive nor negative, so walang sign yan. Okay. Let's proceed to number 4. Negative 3 and positive 4 ang addends natin. So, ang absolute value ng negative 3 ay 3. Ang absolute value ng 4 ay 4. So, ang difference ng 3 and 4 ay 1. Okay? And, alin ba mas may mataas na absolute value? Siyempre, yung positive 4. Kasi ang absolute value ng negative 3 ay 3 lang. 4 is greater than 3. That is why the result should be positive and positive 1. Okay? Sige, let's try answering. Hindi, mamaya na pala. So, iminsanan na natin. This time, mag-subtract naman tayo. Using the number line ulit. So, I'll not be deleting the number sign muna. Okay. Okay. So, number 1. Let's have 3 minus 7. Yan. So, di ba dati, nung mga nasa lower grades pa tayo, pag 3 3 minus 7 so it cannot be. Okay? Pero pagdating natin ng 5 or 6, yung natin malalaman na may integers pala at ang magiging sagot dito ay hindi naman cannot be, kundi an integer. Okay? So ipakita natin how do we get the result kapag 3 minus 7 ang ating kailangang sagutan. So, we're going to start sa 3. Okay? Ito yung ating starting point. So, dito si SpongeBob. Now, kanina kapag plus, haharap si SpongeBob sa kanan. But this time, dahil minus sign na yan, haharap, okay, si SpongeBob sa, okay, kaliwa. Yan. Okay, now, ano yung in-indicate ng 7? Positive yung 7 tama, ibig sabihin dapat si SpongeBob ay susulong, hindi siya uurong. So, mag-move siya forward, mag-move forward siya. So, ilan steps? 7. So, from 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ayan. So, natapos tayo sa negative 4. Ibig sabihin, 3 minus 7 ay negative 4. Okay, next. Number 2, let's say we have 5. Or, sige, let's say we have 2 minus negative 1. Yan. So, 2 minus negative 1 yan ha. So, we start with, okay, 2. Dahil minus nga ulit ang ating ang sign natin or operation and subtraction, SpongeBob has to face, okay, kaliwa. At dahil negative, yung second number, yung subtrahen, ibig sabihin, dapat si SpongeBob, hindi siya po forward. Dapat mag-backward siya. Ilan? So negative 1, ibig sabihin isang unit backward. Ibig sabihin, isa lang. Urong siya. So, mapupunta siya sa 3. Okay, so 2 minus negative 1 ay 3 or positive 3. Isa pa. Number 3. Negative 3 minus negative 1. Or minus negative 2 naman. Okay. So negative 3 minus negative 2. So we start with negative 3. We press natin si SpongeBob sa negative 3. At dahil nga minus ito, haharap si SpongeBob sa kaliwa. At dahil negative, yung ating second number, yung negative 2, yung subtrahen, dapat uurong siyang 2 units, okay? O 2 units backwards. So 1, 2. Ibig sabihin, 3 minus negative 2 ay negative 1. Last example. Number 4. Let's say 0 minus negative 3. Ang sagot dyan, 0 minus negative 3. So, ating starting point ay sa 0. At dahil nga minus ito, kakaliwa or harap sa kaliwa. At dahil negative 3 ang ating second number, yung subtrahen, uurong si SpongeBob ng 3 steps. So, 1, 2, 3. So, nag-end tayo sa positive 3. So, 0 minus negative 3 ay positive 3. So, yan ang ating pagpapakita ng pag-subtract using the number line. Okay? Or, kung ano, we can also use an arrow, okay, para mapakita natin yung paggamit ng number line. So, nag-start tayo dito sa 0, okay, at nag-end tayo sa 3. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, 1, 2, 3. So, dito tayo nagtapos. So, 0 minus negative 3 ay positive 3. So, from 0 napunta sa 3. Okay. So, what is the rule when we subtract integers? Okay, so isa lang ang natandaan natin. Or dalawa pa lang steps to. CTS. Okay? Kung sinabing CTS, change the sign. Ng alin? Ng isa pang S. Subtrahen. So what is the subtrahen? Yan ang pangalawang number sa sa minus. Or yan yung number after the minus sign. So ito, 7, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Yan ang subtrahen. Kasi yung 3, 2, negative 3 at 0 ay mga minuend. Okay, so again, when we subtract, we have to change the sign of the subtrahend. So CTSS. And then, as simple as, okay, add. So, after changing the sign of the subtrahend, we have to add. So, gawin nga natin. Okay. So, 3 minus 7. So, yung ating subtrahend ay 7. Positive ang 7, tama. Ibig sabihin, gagawin natin negative. Okay? Tapos, yung minus sign, magiging plus sign kasi nga we have to add after changing the sign of the subtrahend. So 3 plus negative 7. So ibig sabihin pala, ang 3 minus 7 can be expressed as 3 plus negative 7. So dapat alam din natin yung rule. So we have to recall now how to add integers kapag magkaiba yung sign. So unlike ang signs, ibig sabihin we have to subtract the absolute values of 3 and negative 7. So 3 at saka 7 yan, ang absolute values nila. So 7 and 3 pag pinag-minus mo ay 4. Now, diba sabi dun sa rule sa pag-add, after subtracting the absolute values, we have to copy the sign of the one with the greater absolute value. So, ano bang mas may mataas na absolute value? Yung positive 3 o yung negative 7? Siyempre yung negative 7 kasi 7 yung absolute value niya as compared sa 3. So, ibig sabihin, 3 plus negative 7 ay negative 4. So, we got the same result sa kaninang ginawa natin sa pag-add, pag-subtract using the number line. Next, 2 minus negative 1. So let's use this written expression. 2 minus negative 1. So yung subtrahen ng negative 1, gagawin natin positive. So yung negative naging positive, then the minus sign will be changed to plus sign. So magiging 2 plus positive 1 or simply 2 plus 1. Kaya naman ang sagot ay 3. Next, negative 3 minus negative 2. So again, change the sign to subtrahen. Yung negative magiging positive. Then yung minus sign magiging plus sign. So negative 3 plus positive 2. Again, hindi parehas ang sign. Subtract absolute values. Ang absolute value ng negative 3 ay 3. Ang absolute value ng positive 2 ay 2. So 3 minus 2, 1. So ito yung 1 dyan. Yan. Now, bakit negative yung ating naging sagot? Because we have to copy the one with the great the sign of the one with the greater absolute value at 3 yun, negative 3. Okay? So negative 3 ang may mataas na absolute value. Ibig sabihin, negative dapat magiging sagot sa negative 3 plus negative 2. Now, yung 0 minus negative 3. So change the sign to subtrahen, so magiging positive 3. Then we add. So 0 plus positive 3 or 0 plus 3 ay 3. Okay, so let's try answering exercises. Okay. Let's have page 34. Yan. We have. So, sunod ko muna sa board. So, we have 8 minus negative 4. Number 2. Negative 9 minus positive 6. So, kahit wala na siguro positive sign yung 6. 3. 11 minus 6, and then 4, or 5. Let's skip number 4. So negative 7 plus 9. Sige. What is your answer in item number 1? What is 8 minus negative 4? Sige nga. What is 8 minus negative 4? Okay, so, again, kapag subtraction of integers, we have to change the sign of the subtrahend. So yung negative 4 magiging positive 4. And then yung minus sign, since we have to add after changing the sign, so we have to change the minus sign to plus sign or into plus sign. So we have 8 plus positive 4 or simply 8 plus 4. Okay, very good. See, Roberto Jordelisa. So 12. So again, ang 12 nga ay equal yan sa 8 minus negative 4. Okay? Yun yung original expression. Next, what about negative 9 minus 6? What is negative 9 minus 6? Okay, tama. Humabol si Alriza Zaidain. 12 ang sagot sa number 1. Ano yung NC? National Certification ba yan? ESNA? Maseda? Or not clear? Okay. Janelle, journalist, tama yung 12. Okay. Okay, let's have number 2. Negative 9 minus 6. So again, itong sign na to ay minus. Ibig sabihin, we have to subtract. Ibig sabihin yung, okay, may sagot na tayo. Tama si Ash na Maceda, negative 15. So bakit negative 15 na sagot dito? Kasi nga po, when we subtract, we have to change the sign of the subtrahend. So yung 6 na positive, magiging siyang negative. At yung minus sign, magiging plus sign. So ibig sabihin, we have negative 9 plus negative 6. Parehas ang sign. Parehong negative. Ibig sabihin, We simply have to add absolute values. So, absolute value ng negative 9, 9. Absolute value ng negative 6 ay 6. So, 9 plus 6, 15. So, negative 15 ang sagot. So, number 2. Number 3. What is the answer? Okay. Very basic dapat ito. 11 minus 6. 11 minus 6 is, syempre, dapat ang sagot ay positive. Kasi, mas parehong positive yung ating pinagsasubtract at mas mataas naman yung minuend. So, positive 5. Pero, kung sakaling ang naging given ay 6 minus 11, ito yung cannot be natin sinasunod natin. So, 6 minus 11, parehong positive naman. Kaso lang, mas mataas yung subtrahend. So, this is the case na ang magiging sagot ay negative. So, negative 5. Last one, number 5. What is negative 7 plus 9? So, mag-a-add na tayo ha. So, we're going to add two unlike signs. Negative 7 and positive 9. Okay, tama yung mga sumagot ng 5. Okay? Okay. Frances Kate Nicolas. Tama yan. Albiza and Zaide and Akish Clark. Okay. Now, let's have number 5. Negative 7 plus 9. Unlike ulit ang signs. Okay. Ano magiging sagot dito? So, dahil hindi nga parehas ang sign, ibig sabihin, dapat mag-subtract tayo ng absolute values. Okay, tama si Akish Lariola. 2 ang sagot. So, hindi negative 2, pero 2. Okay, bakit 2? Bakit positive 2? Kasi, ang difference ng absolute values ng negative 7 at 9 ay 2. Ngayon, bakit hindi negative? Kasi, kukopihin natin yung sign yung may mas mataas na absolute value, which is yung positive 9. Kaya positive 2 ang magiging sagot. Okay. Now, let's try to answer naman kay konting word problems. Okay? Involving integers. Okay. So, dito na ako mag-start. So, let's have problems from learning task 1. Okay. If it is 25 degrees Celsius outside, okay, yan yung ating parang given information, starting point. And the temperature will drop. So that is our word clue, drop. Okay? 5 degrees Celsius, or drop by 5 degrees Celsius in the next 8 hours. So how cold will it get? Ibig sabihin, bababa pa ng 5 degrees Celsius ang ating temperatura. So what will be the temperature after 8 hours? So pag sinabing drop, magma-minus tayo, tama? So this will be 25 minus 5. So the answer is 20. So ibig sabihin, it will be 20 degrees Celsius after 8 hours. Okay, next. David has this amount of money, which is 1,327 pesos in his checking account. Ngayon, he writes a check for this amount, 1,987. So, ano magiging balanse niya? Tatalbog ba yung check? Hindi ko alam, di ako sure ha. Kasi, kung makikita natin, ito lang yung kanyang nasa checking account, pero yung sinulat ng check, nagkakalaga ng ganitong amount. Mas mataas dun sa balanse niya. Ibig sabihin, baka ang possible ay maging negative yung kanyang balance. Kasi, if we're going to subtract 1,327 sa 1,987, definitely, magiging negative ang sagot. Kasi, again, this is the case of subtracting two positive integers wherein the subtrahend is greater. So, negative. Tama ba yun? Negative 660? So, 7, okay. Tama. So, negative 660. So, negative ang magiging balance niya. Okay, let's have next problem. Okay. You are at 1,532 feet elevation. So, kumbaga kung umakyat ka ng bundok, nandun ka sa taas na yon, 1,532. Siguro that is above sea level. And you're going to descend. Okay, descend. Ibig sabihin, bababa ka. Okay, you're going to descend or descend 836 feet. Ibig sabihin, pag descend, bababa. Ibig sabihin, we have the expression 1,532 minus 836. So what is the answer? in this expression? 1532 minus 836. Okay, I already have see an answer. Okay, 696 ba? So 12 minus 6, 6. This will be 12, 9, 14. Okay, tama si Akishla. 696. Ayan. So I think, si Roberto medyo nalito siguro. 706. Ayan. So hindi, okay, medyo nalito lang siguro si Roberto. Okay, next. Let's have the last one. So a submarine starts out at 200 feet below sea level. Oh. This is below sea level, ha? Okay, 200 feet below sea level. And it dives 535. So dive feet before rising. Okay, 425. Yan. So, nasa 200 feet below sea level siya, nasa lalim siya ng dagat, tapos nag-dive pa siya ng 535 feet. Kaya niya yun? Hindi ko kaya yun. And then mag-aangat siya ng 425 feet. So ano yung magiging expression natin para dito? So dahil yung 200 feet, yan ay below sea level, that means we can represent that as negative 200. Now, nag-dive siya 535 feet. Ibig sabihin, that means minus 535. At nag-rise siya 425. Ibig sabihin, magpa-plus tayo ng 425. So ano yung kanyang current position? Below or above sea level na? O, let's try to solve. What is negative 200 minus 535? Negative 200 minus 535, so dahil ang 535 ay negative, ay positive, magiging siyang negative. Then we will add. So negative plus negative ay negative. So negative, plus mag-add lang tayo ng absolute value, so we get negative 735. Then we will add it, okay? Mag-a-add tayo by 425. So this time, unlike na ang signs. So we should get, okay, the difference of the absolute values of 735 and 425, which is 310 ba? So 5 minus 5, 0. 3 minus 2, 1. 7 minus 4, 3. Tama. Then we have to copy the sign of the one with the greater absolute value. So yun ay yung negative 735. So negative 310 ang result. Ibig lang sabihin, he is 310 feet below sea level. Yan. So hanggang dyan ang ating discussion for today. So I hope i-share natin yung link na ito para mas may matutunan din yung ating mga friends at kakilala sa Facebook. So hanggang sa muli, see you na yan sa first week ng ating third quarter lesson sa Math 6. So thank you for tuning in and for listening and for commenting your answers sa ating mga tanong kanina. Bye-bye. God bless everyone. Keep safe. Yeah.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng DepEd Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Ayan, good afternoon! Welcome back, matatalinong grade 7 learners. Ganon din po sa mga magulang na nanonood at sa ating mga kasamahang guro. Muli po, ako po si Tutor Rose Ann, ang magiging tutor nyo for this afternoon. So, samahan nyo po kami, okay? Sama-sama tayong muling madagdagan ang ating kaalaman sa Mathematics 7. Okay, so, shout out muna sa mga nanonood. Okay, andyan sila Lady Lynn Diao, Francis Kate Nicolas. So sana sama-sama pa rin tayo, stay tuned po. At sama-sama tayong madagdagan ng ating kaalaman. So last week, okay, ang pinag-aralan natin ay kung paano mag-translate ng word problems into mathematical sentence. So dinifferentiate din natin kung ano yung equation, inequality, and the expressions. So, ngayon naman, samahan niyo ako na ituloy ang ating lesson. So, for today, our lesson is solving linear equation and inequalities in one variable. Okay, good afternoon din kay Janelle Jornales. Elia Cabodil, shout out po from Tacloban City. So, hello po. Okay, our objectives for today, find the solution of linear equation or inequality in one variable and write the solution of inequality in set notation, interval notation, and graphical method. Okay, so unahin po natin yung solving linear equation in one variable. So solve for the value of x. Pasensya na medyo maingay sa paligid natin. Okay, so given 2x plus 5 is equals to 21. So ito ay isang, equation or inequality? Ano po ito? Sige nga, comment down. Ito ay isang, hi, good afternoon din po, Lourdes Farcon. Sino to? Es na Maceda from Mindanao. Hello po. Okay, so this 2x plus 5 is equals to 21 is an equation. So dahil ang gamit natin dito ay equal sign. So ngayon, pag-aaralan natin, paano ba hanapin yung value ng x na to. Okay? So, 2x plus 5 is equals to 21. Let us find the value of x. Okay, so we have 2x plus 5. Kailangan natin makancel si 5. Okay? So, para makancel natin si 5, just leave a blank here. Is equals to 21. Okay, so kung natatandaan ninyo ang addition property of equation, iisip lang tayo ng isang number na kapag ka-inad sa 5, ay magzi-0 na ito. Ano kaya yung pwedeng i-add sa 5 na pwedeng mag-0? Sige nga, paki-comment nga. Ano ang sa palagay ninyong pwedeng i-add natin sa 5? Na magiging 0 si 5. Yes, tama si ano to? S na maseda. That would be negative 5. Okay, addition property of equality. So, kapag nag-add ka ng isang number or term o ng number sa isang side, therefore, kailangan mo rin i-add yun sa kabilang side. So, nag-add tayo ng negative 5 here sa left. Therefore, kailangan natin mag-add din ng negative 5 sa right side. Okay? So, we have now 2x. 5 minus 5, that would be 0. Ang 0, hindi na natin kailangan pang isulat. Is equals to 21 minus 5. What is 21 minus 5? That would be 16. Okay, now, ang hinahanap lang natin value ni x. May 2 tayo dito. So, kailangan natin makancel si 2. Okay, so gamit ang we can divide both side by, simply divide both side by 2 para makancel na natin si 2. Okay? Or the MPE. Di ba sa MPE, imumultiply natin siya sa reciprocal ng coefficient natin. The reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Or, you can also divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 2. Okay, nakakasunod ba? So, therefore, our value of x is what? Okay, very good. See? Hindi ko ma-pronounce ng tama ang iyong pangalan. Si Maceda, that would be 8. So, tama. Okay. Tama rin si Elia Kabodi. Okay, so salamat sa pagsagot. Okay, the value of our x is 8. So, to check if our answer is correct, we simply substitute, okay, the value of x dito sa ating equation. So, let us try. So, we have 2x plus 5 is equals to 21. Substitute lang natin ang value ng x, okay, which is 8. So, that would be 2 times 8 plus 5 is equals to 21. So, 2 times 8, that is 16 plus 5 is 21. So, 16 plus 5 is what? That is 21. And that is equals to 21. So, tama po. Good afternoon, Nerissa Natividad Pilapil. Good afternoon din. Okay, so therefore, our solution is correct. And our equation means that this one is true. Kasi ang equation could be true or false. So, ibig sabihin, kapag false, ibig sabihin, maaaring walang solution for that equation. Okay? Next. Let's try this. The sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 81. Find the numbers. So, di ba last time, nag-translate tayo ng word problem into mathematical sentence. So, let us try to translate this first. Okay, the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers or odd integers. So, ano-ano ba yung odd integers? Sige nga, ano-ano? What is odd integers? Ano-ano ba yon? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on and so forth. So, 3 consecutive. Ibig sabihin, tatlong magkakasunod daw na odd integers ay equal to 81. Okay. So, dahil hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung numbers, let x be the number. So, the first number is x. Okay. How about the second number? X. Ano ba ang interval ng odd integers? So, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Ang interval nila ay 2. So, kailangan lang natin magdagdag ng 2 sa ating second number. Okay, how about the third number? So, that is x plus 2 plus another 2, or simply x plus 4. So, this one is our third number. Okay, now, let us write this into mathematical sentence or sa equation. So, x plus the second number, x plus 2, plus the third number, x plus 4, is equals to 81. So, ayan. Ito ngayon ang ating equation. So, let us find the value of x. Okay. So, given this equation now, add natin ang like terms. So, again, you can only add and subtract terms if and if only they have the same variable and exponent. So, since in one variable lang naman tayo, okay, pare-pareha sila ng variable at ng exponent, pwede na natin silang i-add itong x plus x plus x. And that would be what? That would be 3x. Next, ang 2 at saka 4, pwede natin silang i-add. So, 2 plus 4 is 6 is equals to 81. Okay, next, the APE again. Kailangan natin makancel si 6. So, gamitin natin si APE. Okay, addition property of equality. Or, you simply transpose. Are you familiar with transposing? Yung tinatawag natin transposing. Are you familiar with that? Shout out daw kay Arsen Agravante. Oh, hello po. And Sandy Rose Usores. Hello. Okay. So, APE, we have 3x plus 6. And then, a number na pag inad sa 6 ay magsi-0 and that would be negative 6 is equals to 81. And then, nag-add tayo sa left side ng negative 6. Therefore, sa right side din, mag-add tayo ng negative 6. Okay. So, 3x, 6 minus 6, that would be 0, is equals to 81 minus 6 is 75. Okay? So, we have 3x again is equals to 75. Ang hinahanap lang natin, value ni x. Kailangan makancel natin si 3. So, anong gagawin? We have to what? Divide both sides by 3. Or the MPE. Kinukuha natin ang reciprocal. Papakita ko sa inyo kung ano ginagawa natin, ha? Okay, ito yon. Ito ay shortcut, anak, ha? Mga anak, shortcut po ito. Ang talagang ginagawa natin ay 3x is equals to 75. Kunin natin ang reciprocal nito, multiply natin sila both side. Ang reciprocal ng 3 ay 1/3. Okay. So, yan po ang ginagawa natin. So, since 1 times 3x is still 3x, okay? O, ayun. So, shortcut lang. Sinasabi lang natin, divide both side by 3. Pero, ang ginagawa talaga natin ay MPE. Okay. So, balik tayo kay 3x over 3 is equals to 75 over 3. So, cancel na natin si 3 dito. Ang matitira ay x is equals to 75 over 3. That would be, what's the answer? What is the answer? Paki-comment nga. 75 over 3. Good afternoon din, Fatima Faith Cañete. Nixie Labis from Bandawe City. Hello po. Okay, so 75 over 3, that is 25. So the value of x is 25. So ibig sabihin, ang first number natin ay x is 25. So first number ay 25. The second one is x plus 2. So that would be 25 plus 2. So therefore, the second number is 27. And then the third one is x plus 4. So that is 25 plus 4. And that would be 29. 25, 27, 29. Add integers ba sila? Add numbers ba silang lahat? Hello po, Ma'am Mary Ann. Nanonood pala. Hello po sa aking ka-co-teachers, Ma'am Mary Ann Laspite. Okay, so again, 25, 27, 29. Pare-parehas bang add numbers? Yes. Consecutive ba? Magkakasunod ba sila? Sige nga, comment nga kung yes or no. Consecutive Add integers ba sila? Opo, sabi ni Arsen Agravante. Okay, very good. So our answer is 25, 27, and 29. So yun yung 3 numbers na hinahanap natin. Okay, so let us check. So sabi, pag pinag-add daw silang lahat, ang sagot ay 81. So 25 plus 27 plus 29 is 81. So 5 plus 7 plus 9, that is 21. So carry 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 81 is equals to 81. So therefore, our answer is correct. Okay. Next. Okay, so let us try to answer your learning task 2. Okay, so given 5x plus 12 is equals to 2x minus 3. Okay, so ano ang gagawin natin? Ang hinahanap lang natin ay value ni x. Okay, so pwede na natin pagsamahin si 5x and 2x. Okay, by transposing. Okay? So yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, ang transposing sa APE. Okay? So we have 5x. Shortcut ito ng APE. Okay, so 2x, tatranspose natin. Remember lang, kapag tayo ay nagtatranspose, huwag kakalimutang mag-change ng sign. So since we have positive 2x dito, kapag inilipat sa kabilang side, that would be negative 2x. Okay? And 12 and negative 3, pwede rin natin silang pagsamahin. So, maaari na natin ilipat si 12 sa kabilang side. Transpose lang natin. So, that would be negative 3. Ang positive 12, itatranspose natin. So, that would be negative 12. Okay, next. Combine like terms. So, we have 5x minus 2x. That would be what? 5x minus 2x. That would be 3x is equals to negative 3 minus 12. That would be negative 15. Okay, ang hinahanap natin value lang ni x. So, divide both sides by 3. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 is 1. So, no need to write 1. So, that would be x is equals to negative 15 over 3. That is negative 5. So, the value of our x is negative 5. Okay, so let us check. So, sa checking, pwedeng ito ang gamitin yung equation. Okay? Or simply, ito na lang. Yung sinimplify na natin. So, 3x is equals to negative 15. So, substitute lang natin ang value ni x. So, we have 3 times the value of x, negative 5, is equals to negative 15. So, 3 times negative 5, that is negative 15, is equals to negative 15. Okay, so, tama sila Elia Cabodil. Okay? So, si Angela Pascual, siguro nagkaroon ng problem, typographical, sa kanyang sign. Okay. Next, let's have number 2. We have 3x plus 6 is equals to negative 2x plus 1. Okay, again, hinahanap natin ay value lang ni x. So, transposing lang tayo. Okay, so we have now 3x. Transpose natin si negative 2x. Transpose natin si negative 2x. That would be positive 2x is equals to 1. Transpose si 6. That would be negative 6. 3x plus 2x, that is 5x, is equals to 1 minus 6 is negative 5. And then again, divide both sides by 5. What would be our answer? Ano ang magiging answer natin? Yes, Tikyo Rojales. That would be negative 1. Okay. So, let us check. Again, pwedeng ito ang gamitin natin sa pag-check. or simply yung simplified form ng ating equation, which is 5x is equals to negative 5. So, substitute lang natin ang value ni x. So, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. So, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. That will be equal to negative 5. Okay? So, nakakasunod pa ba? Okay. Okay, next. We have x over 2 minus 4x is equals to 7. Okay, so para mas madali natin masagutan ito, para mahanap natin yung value ng x, kailangan natin munang makancel si 2. Okay? So, paano natin makakancel si 2? By multiplying all or both side by 2. So, multiply lang natin sila by 2. Minus 4x times 2 is equals to 7 times 2. Sa lahat ng terms natin ay minultiply natin kay 2. Okay, next. So, 2 times x halves, that will be 2x over 2, or simply makakancel na lang si 2. Matitira ay x. Next, negative 4x times 2, that would be what? What is negative 4x times 2? That would be negative 8x. Okay, is equals to 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, next, x minus 8x, that is negative 7x is equals to 14. So, kailangan ulit makatanggal si negative 7. So, divide both sides. Just simply divide both sides by negative 7 to cancel this. So, therefore, the value of x is what? What's the value of x? That is negative 2. Okay. Nakakasunod pa po ba? Okay, so check natin. So, we have x minus 8x is equals to 14. Okay, so tama si Arsen Agravante, that is negative 2. Okay, so substitute natin ng value ni x, which is negative 2. So, negative 2 minus 8 times negative 2 is 14. So, negative 2, negative 8 times negative 2, that would be positive 16 is 14. So, negative 2 plus 16 is positive 14 is equals to positive 14. Okay? Nakasunod ba? Okay, next. Let's move to solving linear inequality in one variable. So, kanina, linear equation tayo. Ngayon naman, linear inequality. Okay, the solution of the inequality can be written in 3 different ways. So, first is set notation, the interval notation, and graphical method. Okay, so take note of this. Okay? So, sa pagsusulat mamaya ng ng interval notation, okay, kapag ka ang ginagamit natin, pagka ang gamit ay less than or greater than or less than, okay, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. And sa graph naman is open circle or hollow dot. Okay? Kapag naman ang gamit ay greater than or equal or less than or equal, ang gagamitin natin sa interval notation ay bracket. At pag grinaph naman natin siya is shaded circle. Okay? So, mamaya papaliwanag ko kung ano ibig sabihin. Okay. So, solve for the x. So, x over 3 plus 4 is greater than 5. So, ang hinahanap natin ay value ni x. So, again, we have to cancel 3. Okay, so, ang gagawin natin ay just multiply all or both side by 3. So 3 times x over 3 plus 4 times 3 is greater than 5 times 3. Okay, so this one, makakancel na. Matitira ay x. Plus 4 times 3, that is 12, is greater than 5 times 3, that is 15. Okay, so transpose lang ulit natin si 12. Okay, so x is greater than 15. Transpose natin si 12, that would be negative 12. So therefore, x is greater than 15 minus 12, that is 3. Okay, so ito yung solution natin for this inequality. Okay, so isulat natin siya as set notation. Okay, sa pagsulat ng set notation, gagamit lang tayo ng curly bracket. Okay, so all x such that x is greater than 3 and then curly bracket ulit. Okay, so ikakopy nyo lang yung solution natin sa set notation. Okay? Next, bago tayo mag-interval notation, i-graph muna natin. Unahin natin si graphical method, para mas madali natin maisulat si interval notation. So this one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay. So sabi, x is greater than 3. So, ang ginamit natin dito ay greater than. Okay, so again, pagka greater than, ang gagamitin natin sa interval notation, parenthesis. So that would be parenthesis 3 and then greater than. So, asan si 3 natin? Pagka greater than, ang gagamitin natin ay hollow dot. Okay, hollow dot. Sa graphical method. Okay? And then, up to, sabi, mas mataas daw kay 3. Up to beyond or infinity. So, ang tatandaan nyo lang, yung arrow, okay? Yung arrow na to, kung saan lang din, okay, nakatapat ito. Okay, gagayahin nyo lang din. Okay? So, to infinity. Bakit? Ano ibig sabihin ng hollow dot or the open circle? Ano ibig sabihin yan? Ang ibig sabihin yan, hindi included, no, si 3. Okay? Excluded si 3. Okay? It could be 3.1. Okay? Basta mas mataas kay 3 ay kasama na. So, x is greater than 3. Basta hindi kasama si 3. Okay? Maliwanag ba? Okay, so paano naman isusulat ang interval notation? Okay, so dahil again, ang ginamit natin dito ay greater than, ito, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. So that would be 3, okay, up to positive infinity, di ba? Papunta sa pataas, okay? Pataas, dito. So up to positive infinity. Pagka infinity ang gamit natin, okay, positive man to or negative, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis pa rin. Naliwanag? Okay, next. Okay, yung learning task 2B natin. So, number 1, 2x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, ang hinahanap lang natin, value ni x. So, therefore, divide both sides by 2. So, cancel na to. Therefore, x is less than or equal to 4 over 2 is 2. So, this one is our solution. Okay, so our set notation. Sulat natin siya as set notation. So, curly bracket ulit. Okay, set of x such that x is less than or equal to 2 and then curly bracket ulit. So, again, sa set notation, kukopyahin lang natin si solution natin. Okay? Hi po, hi din Ken Alvarado, watching from Quezon City. Hello. Okay, next. Graph ulit natin. Unahin natin si C, yung graph. So that will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, so unahin natin ang graphical method. So 2 natin, positive 2. Dahil ang gamit natin ay less than or equal, okay? Ang gagamitin natin ay shaded circle. So, shaded circle. Ibig sabihin nun, included, kasama si 2, from 2, okay? Is less than. So, ibig sabihin, pababa. Okay? Pababa siya. Nakasunod ba? Okay, ngayon, sulat naman natin siya sa interval notation. So, unahin na natin si negative infinity. So, negative infinity. Okay, ito yon. Ibig sabihin, pababa hanggang sa infinite negative infinity. Okay? Hanggang kay 2. Okay? So, anong gagamitin natin? Gagamit ba tayo ng parenthesis or bracket? So, again, dahil meron tayong negative infinity dito, sabi ko nga, pagka-infinity, positive or negative, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. Okay? How about 2? Okay? Dahil ang ginamit natin ay less than or equal, ibig sabihin, included si 2, okay? Hanggang kay 2 lang, okay? Ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin natin ay bracket dito. Okay? Nakasunod po ba? Watching from Zamboanga City. Hello po, Alan Pawaki. And then, Maricel Pader. Good afternoon po. Okay, next. How about this? Negative 3. Okay. We have 2x plus 3 is greater than negative 3 but less than 15. Okay? So, ang hinahanap natin ay value ni x. We have 2x plus 3. So, kailangan muna nating makancel si 3. Again, hanap tayo ng number na pwedeng i-add para mag-0 si 3. Okay? Okay, so we have negative 3 and then mag-leave tayo ng blank. Okay? Less than 2x plus 3. Leave another blank. Okay? Less than 15. Another blank. So, what's the number na kapag inad natin sa 3 ay magsi-0? That would be what? Ano ang pwede nating i-add sa 3 para mag-0 ito? That would be negative 3. Okay, negative 3. Okay, so negative 3 minus 3, that is negative 6, less than 2x. 3 minus 3, that would be 0. Okay, so no need to write 0. 15 minus 3, that is 12. Okay, ang hinahanap lang natin value ni x. Meron tayong coefficient dito na 2. So, kailangan nating makancel si 2. So, ang gagawin natin, di-divide natin lahat by 2. Okay, so negative 6 over 2, that would be negative 3. So, 2x over 2, that would be x. 12 over 2 is 6. So, therefore, this one is our solution. So, x is greater than negative 3, but less than 6. So, sulat natin again as set notation. So, again, curly bracket lang tayo. Okay, so all x such that x is greater than negative 3, but less than 6. So, yan yung ating set notation. Okay. Again, letter C tayo, graphical method. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, unahin natin si negative 3. Ang gamit ay less than. So, ibig sabihin yon ay open ba or shaded circle? Comment nyo nga. Anong gagamitin natin? Open circle or shaded circle? That would be open circle. So, gamitin natin si open circle. Next, how about kay 6? Okay, ano? Ang gamit natin dito ay, ang x natin ay less than 6 daw. Ang gamit ay less than. So, ibig sabihin, open circle pa din. Okay? So, ganito ang magiging itsura ng ating graph. Okay? So, isulat natin siya as interval notation. Okay, so negative 3 and then 6. Anong gagamitin natin? Parenthesis ba o bracket? Okay, very good, Arsen and Liana de la Cruz. Open circle yun. Okay, how about here? Sa interval notation, anong gagamitan natin? Parenthesis ba or bracket? Comment nyo nga. Okay, so ang gagamitin natin ay open parenthesis. Okay. Next, how about 5x minus 4 is greater than 6? So again, kung mag-shortcut lang, transpose lang natin si 4, si negative 4. So 5x, transpose natin si negative 4, is greater than 6. That would be positive 4. So 5x is greater than 6 plus 4, that is 10. Okay. Yes. Was that Lynn, Benito, and Alan Pawaki? Okay, so divide both sides by 5 to get the value of x. So cancel na natin si 5 dito, 5 over 5. So therefore, our x is greater than 2. So this one is the set of solution. Okay, so again, set notation natin. Set notation. Okay. That would be all x such x is greater than 2. Okay, next. Graph natin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so positive 2. X is greater than positive 2. So, greater than ang gamit. So, therefore, ang gagamitin natin sa graphical method natin is open circle. And then, greater than. So, ibig sabihin, up to positive infinity. Okay? Yes, very good, Maylin Benito. Okay, so ganito yung magiging graph natin. And then lastly is the interval notation. So interval notation natin, so 2 to positive infinity. Ano gagamitin? Parenthesis or bracket? Anong gagamitin natin? That would be, dahil ang ating gamit ay greater than, so therefore, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. And we also have here positive infinity. So therefore, again, ang gagamitin natin ay parenthesis. Okay? So sana ay natutunan ninyo ang pagsasolve ng linear equation and inequality in one variable. Pati na rin ang pagsusulat ng solution of inequality sa set notation, interval notation, and graphical method. Okay, so that would be all grade 7. So salamat sa pagsama sa akin. See you next Friday, same time at 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. Bye-bye!
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Ayan, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga taga-subaybay na nanonood sa buong Pilipinas sa ating ETULay session ngayong hapon. Ako po si Tutor Joshua, ang inyong makakasama sa pag-aaral ng matematika ngayong linggong ito. Ngayon po ay nasa week 8 na tayo ng ating mathematics for grade 8. So ito po yung pinakahuling competency na ating matutunghayan ngayong second quarter ng ating Math 8. Ngayon po, no, so medyo lumayo tayo dun sa solving na part ng algebra. Nandito tayo ngayon sa geometry. Pero wag na wag yung kakalimutan yung mga natutunan ninyo nung first at yung mga kalahating parte ng second quarter natin kasi makakatulong pa rin yun, lalo na pagtungtong yun ng grade 9. Ngayon naman, yung pag-aaralan natin ngayong linggo na ito ay kung paano magsulat ng proofs. So yung proofs natin, yun yung ating patunay doon sa logical statements na ating ginagawa or ating binubuo para masabi natin na logical talaga at may patunay nga na totoo yung ating statement. So, good afternoon, watching daw from Mount Apo, Kidapawan City Division, Ma'am Teresa Genaro Bustillos, kay Sally Babida Facun ng, hello sir, good PM. Magandang hapon din po sa inyo lahat. So, kung meron po kayong mga kaklase, anumang grade level yan, malaking bagay po ang matutunan ng mga ito kasi hindi naman tayo basta-basta ah, hindi porke po na hindi natin ginagamit or di na natin grade level ay malaking bagay pa rin na may matutunan tayo kahit papaano. So, tawagin ng mga kaklase, tawagin si nanay at si tatay para masamahan kayo na matuto ngayong araw na ito. At para sa ating mga co-teachers naman, gandang hapon po. Pwede po nating i-endorse ito sa mga students natin para ma-motivate din po sila at ma-review ng ating mga lessons. Okay, so para sa week po na ito, ayan. So, we will use inductive and deductive reasoning in an argument. So ngayon po, meron dahil magsusulat tayo ng proof or ng pruweba nga, meron kasing dalawang klase ng pagrarason or pagdadahilan sa pagbibigay ng patunay sa isang statement. We have the inductive and deductive reasoning. Tapos babalikan natin yung kung paano sumulat ng logical statements, conditional, converse, inverse, and the contrapositive dahil importante iyon sa pagsusulat ng proof. So muli po, ang ginagamit nating material para sa ETULay sessions ay ang Pivot 4A Learners Material ng Quarter 2, Grade 8 Mathematics. At ito po ay mada-download natin sa DepEd Commons. Pati na rin po ang slides na aking pinapakita ngayon ay eventually po mada-download din sa DepEd Commons. Ayan, so magsimula na po tayo. Lahat ng examples natin ay manggagaling lamang sa module given the page and which part siya ng ating module makikita. So itong learning task number 1 on page 27, it's actually a review ng ating previous lesson. So yung previous lesson natin last week is about writing the statement in its converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So, nung week 5 natin kasi natutunan natin na ang conditional statement ay merong dalawang parts, the hypothesis and the conclusion. So, dito, given tayo ng statement, it is an eagle, it's a bird. So, we will write a statement indicated by the given symbol. So, dapat ngayon, alam nyo na kung ano ibig sabihin yung P and Q na yan. So, yung P, kapag nandun siya sa unahan nung mathematical statement na yan, it's the hypothesis. And then yung Q is the conclusion pag nandun siya sa dulo. Pwede yan magkabaliktad, kaya yung P not necessarily na hypothesis siya palagi. Okay? So meron tayo ditong ordinaryong statement, we will translate it or write it in another way using if-then. So paano siya isusulat? So meron tayo ditong P and Q, the natural way or the conventional way to write your statement. So nahati na yung ating sentence sa dalawang parte. At ano yung mahati sa kanya? Yung comma. So, pwede nating sabihin that the first statement, P, is given by the animal is an eagle. So, bakit natin dinagdagan ng mga salita? Ba't natin dinagdagan yung the animal? Kasi we're formulating logical statement. So, kailangan concise and complete yung ating statement. So, pwede rin naman siyang it is an eagle. Pero kung ganun lang yung gagamitin natin, medyo hilaw, medyo incomplete yung statement. So, gawin natin, meron tayong subject na hindi lang basta pronoun and the descriptor or yung nasa predicate natin. Okay? Next, yung second half ng ating sentence, it's a bird. So, pareho lang tayo ng gagamitin na subject. So, Q could be written as the animal is a bird. So, meron na tayong P and Q, meron tayong hypothesis and conclusion. So, ilalagay na natin siya in if-then form. Ang lalagay natin sa P doon sa hypothesis and yung Q sa conclusion. So we have, if the animal is an eagle, then it is a bird. So ngayon, medyo mahaba kasi, syempre, di ba kung lalagay natin, if the animal is an eagle, then the animal is a bird. So magkakaroon ng konting redundancy, paulit-ulit. So again, We use pronouns to substitute for the nouns. Okay? And then, um, hindi lahat ng logical statement ay totoo. Merong mga pagkakataon na ito ay false. So, kailan magiging true yung isang logical statement? A logical statement is true kapag for all instances, siya ay totoo. For all instances ng hypothesis, siya ay true for every conclusion. So, in this case, if the animal is an eagle, then it is a bird. So, lahat ba ng pagkakataon na merong agila, maka-classify ba natin siya na isang ibon? So actually, eagle is a type of bird. So actually, this is true. Okay? Pero is the converse also true? Kapag binaliktad ba natin yung dalawang statement na yan, which is Q, then P, totoo rin ba siya? So, basahin natin. So, given na tayo ng P and Q kanina, no? Babalik ta rin lang natin yung position niya doon sa if-then statement. It will become, if the animal is a bird, then it is an eagle. Kung yung animal daw ay isang ibon, then ito daw ay agila. So ngayon, this is a logical statement. Kasi nga, meron tayong hypothesis, meron tayong conclusion. But is this true? Totoo ba yung sinabi niya? Okay, so sabi ni Alan Escocia Pawaki, pwede daw tayong gumawa ng truth table, correct? Pero later on, kasi merong mga statements na hindi basta-basta pwedeng gawa ng truth table kasi it's very logical na, it's very evident na some statements are false. Okay, pero tama rin naman, no? We use truth table to identify or to determine yung truth value ng isang statement at any combination. Kunwari, na-negate yung statement P. Ibig sabihin, the animal is not an eagle. So, malalaman natin yung truth value pa rin. Okay? Next. Again, is this statement true or false? Tagalogin natin kung ang hayop ay isang ibon, ito daw ay isang agila. So, ngayon, isip kayo ng pagkakataon na dapat daw true ito sa lahat ng pagkakataon o lahat ng bagay. Kaya lang alam natin na marami pang klase ng ibon. May maya, mayroong tikling, mayroong uwak. So, meron tayong tinatawag na counter examples. At pag meron tayong kahit isang counter example lang, the statement is already false. Okay? The statement is already false. Okay? And ano yung ka-equivalent ng converse statement? So, kapag false kasi yung converse statement, the inverse is also false. And kapag true yung conditional, then the equivalent statement, which is the contrapositive, is also true. Okay? So, next, we have here, kung kanina isang arrowhead lang to the right, yun nakikita ninyo. Okay? Ngayon, meron tayong dalawang arrowhead from the left then to the right. And baliktaran siya. It means that kung meron tayong conclusion na P and conclusion, hypothesis P rather, and conclusion Q, ganoon din siya kapag binaliktad. So this is a biconditional statement. Yung P, if, only if, Q. So, gagawin lang natin, susulat siya with the hypothesis or P, then if and only if, then the next statement, Q. So, baligtaran yan. So, ang sabi rito, the animal is an eagle if and only if it is a bird. So, sa Tagalog, kung ang hayop daw ay isang agila, mali. Ang hayop daw ay isang agila kung ito ay isang ibon. So, specific siya, no? Matik daw na kapag agila, ibon. At kapag ibon, agila. And tulad na sabi natin kanina, if there is an instance na isang beses siyang false, every the whole statement will be false. Okay? Kailan ba nagiging true ang biconditional statement? Magiging true ang biconditional statement kapag syempre, true siya both ways. Kaya nga siya biconditional eh. Dalawa yung kondisyon na kailangan niyang matupad para maging true statement siya. Okay? So I hope you remember how to write logical statements kasi this is the foundation of geometry and actually dito rin nabuo yung math. Hindi lang yan basta-basta solve. Meron tayong um, studies na or ginagawa para ma-discover yung rules and laws na ginagamit natin sa math. Hindi lang siya basta-basta solve. Nagsa-start siya actually sa language. So good PM kay Eliza Jezery Esteban watching from Anitan National High School ng Capiz. Yan. So ngayon, again, tungo tayo dun sa MELC natin which is on using inductive and deductive reasoning in an argument. So, marami siyang tinatawag dito, marami siyang pwedeng gawing definition, pero ang pinakasimple kong masasabi regarding inductive and deductive is this. Kapag inductive reasoning, ang ginagawa ninyo ay meron tayong specific examples. Okay? May pattern tayong nakikita at yung pattern na yun, ginagamit natin to formulate a generalization. Okay? So, kunwari, yung 2, 4, 6, 8, pag dinivide sa 2, the answer is 1, 2, 3. So, whole numbers. Kapag 1, 3, 5, pag dinivide sa 2, ang pattern ay nagiging fraction or nagiging decimal. So magkakaroon tayo based on specific examples or items, bubuo tayo ng generalization. Ano yung panganib nito? Hindi lahat kasi ng specific examples will lead to the same generalization. Okay? Hindi meron tayo dapat exception of the rule which will learn later. Meron tayong law na gagamitin para masabi natin na yun at yun lang ang mangyayari for every instance. Kasi again, may isa lang beses na hindi siya mangyari, the generalization will be false. So, ang inductive is the opposite of deductive. So, kung ang inductive is specific to general, the opposite is general to specific. So, sa deductive, in essence, meron na tayong given na rule and it will be applied to every item. Okay? So, meron tayong law or meron tayong rule at gumagana siya for everything. So, yun yung usual natin na ginagamit for writing proofs. So, pinagko-combine natin yung inductive and deductive para mabuo yung logical nating argument. Okay? So, let's have an example ng inductive reasoning. So, at Learning Task 2A, at page 32, you will have you have to make a conclusion based on the given patterns. So, dito, makikita nyo, meron tayong 6 examples wherein lahat sila addition. Okay, so yun yung first clue. Okay? Yun yung first clue. Kasi, again, given tayo ng example, so we're going to use inductive reasoning here. So, given tayo, gagawa tayo ng generalization. So, kailangan ma-observe natin yung tamang pattern. So, yun yung first clue. We have addition. Next, ano kaya yung makikita nyo specific pa sa kanila? I'll give you a hint. Tignan yung mga numbers na naka-encircle. Tignan yung mga numbers na naka-encircle. We have 1, we have 3, We have 5, we have 7, we have 15, we have 17. Okay? We have also 21 and 29. So, after nun, tignan yung sagot. Tignan yung sum. May napansin ba? Tignan yung kulay green na circle. Ikumpara doon sa kulay yellow na circle. So, meron tayo makikita dyan na, ayan, nabigay ko yung sagot. So, masasabi natin na kapag meron tayong dalawang odd numbers, tapos kapag pinag-add natin sila, yung sagot ay even. Okay? So, tama si Sir Prince Andrew Mangahas. The sum of two odd numbers is even. So, again, no, we are formulating our own sentences. So, pwede nyo, basta the thought or the logic is there and it's true, it's the same answer. Ang nilagay ko lang is the statement in if-then form. Ayan. Wala. Ayan. So again, no, if two numbers are odd, then their sum is even. So practice lang makukuha nyo yung, yung tamang pagkuha ng pattern. So kung mahilig kayo dun sa abstract reasoning, meron kayong edge dun sa pagsasagot nitong mga exercises na to. Let's have another example. Ayan. So, tignan ulit yung mga numbers. Tignan yung mga numbers na naka-circle na green. And tignan yung mga numbers na naka-circle na yellow. So, we have 1, 3, 5. Actually, 1 squared, 3 squared, 5 squared, and so on. Then 1, 9, 25, 49, 81, and 121. So, it also deals with numbers na odd, no? Makikita natin, odd yung 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And anong ginagawa natin doon sa numbers na yon? We are getting the squares or we multiply them by themselves. Kasi 1 squared is 1 times 1, 5 squared is 5 times 5. Tapos ngayon yung sagot, ano napansin? So napansin nyo dapat na if a number is odd, then its square is also odd. No? So, nakita natin na kapag odd number, kinuha natin yung square or multiply by itself, the number is still odd. So, ganoon din siya kapag even actually. If a number is even, then its square is even or divisible by 2. So, marami tayong mabubuong statements. I'm giving you the one of the first statements na inyong mare-recognize. Kasi again, tulad nga, pwede nyo sabihin na ganito. If a number is odd, then its square is not divisible by 2. Okay? Pwedeng ganon. So marami tayong mabubuong conclusion based on the patterns and based on inductive reasoning. Dapat lang, again, wala tayong binabaling rule para doon. So how about this one? Make a conclusion based on this statement. Para may nalaktawan ako. Ayan, nabigay ko. Ayan. So we have, if two lines are parallel, then they do not intersect. Tapos given tayo ng second statement. Lines J and K are parallel. So sinabi na meron tayong two lines na parallel, at kapag parallel sila, they will not intersect. Tapos, alam natin na J and K are parallel. So, ano masasabi natin? Masasabi natin, alam na natin na parallel sila eh. So, alam din natin na lines J and K do not intersect. So, this is what we call the law of detachment. Okay? This is what we call the law of detachment. Kasi, we have a hypothesis and a conclusion. Tapos, nag-confirm lang tayo ng hypothesis. At kapag confirmed yung hypothesis, the conclusion will also be confirmed. So, parang naabante ito ng slide, no? Parang na-miss out siya na advance. So, I think mababalikan natin ito. Ayan. So, again, this is the same exercise. Given tayo ng two statements. The statement is in the form of a conditional. Tapos, we are confirming it with a specific example. Okay? So, meron daw tayong statement, if the sum of measures of two angles is equal to 90 degrees, then the angles are complementary. And meron daw tayo binigay na angles. Angle X measures 30 degrees and angle Y measures 60 degrees. So, ano masasabi natin kay X and Y? Again, pwede lang ito kapag we have confirmed the hypothesis. Ano ba yung hypothesis kanina? The sum of measures of two angles is equal to 90. So, kailangan ma-confirm natin yon. Let's confirm. What is 30 plus 60? 30 plus 60 is 90. Okay? At kung 90 daw yung sum nila, then the angles are complementary. Angle X and angle Y are complementary. Again, we are confirming the hypothesis through the second statement. Paano kapag binaliktad yan? Paano pag conclusion yung kino-confirm? Does it mean the hypothesis is true? Hindi. Again, ang magka-equivalent is yung conditional and the contrapositive. The converse is situational. So, hindi tayo basta-basta pwedeng mag-assume na kapag binaliktad natin yung mga bagay, tama pa din. Okay? Sana malinaw itong exercise na ito. So, ito rin, the example is the same. If the score in a math exam is 50 and above, then you pass the exam. Eh, si Rick daw nakascore ng 68. So, logically, you could conclude that nakapasa si Rick. Kasi nga, 68 yung kanyang score. Okay? Next. This part is on the law of syllogism. When you say syllogism, yung conclusion natin has another condition. In this case, mapapansin nyo, if you are resting, then you will be relaxed. So, alin dyan yung hypothesis, alin dyan yung conclusion. Okay, you will notice that meron tayong hypothesis na you are resting and the conclusion is you will be relaxed. The second statement, however, yung Q naging hypothesis. Tapos yung R naging conclusion. Ngayon, meron tayong pagkakasunod-sunod. If you are resting, you will be relaxed. And alam natin, if you are relaxed, your heartbeat is normal. So, pwede nating sabihin na, if you are resting, diretso tayo dun sa your heartbeat is normal. Bakit pwede natin yun gawin? Kasi if we have established the first statement to be true and the second statement, as long as conclusion yung isa and umulit siya as hypothesis, by the law of syllogism, we could say, if you are resting, then your heartbeat is normal. Okay? So, ganun siya nangyayari. Pwede man magkabaliktad yan, ulit, hindi basta-basta ang totoo kapag binaliktad yung mga bagay-bagay. So, remember that the conclusion and the hypothesis repeats or nauulit siya dun sa magkabilang side or different statements. So, yan. If you are studying science, then you are studying biology. And if you are studying biology, then you are studying botany. So, again, we have P and Q. Hindi pala P and Q. P, then Q. Then we have Q, then R. So, we could say that if P, then R. If you are studying science, then you are studying botany. Again, based on the example given, we could conclude that. Not necessarily true. So I hope nakakasunod kayo dun sa ating flow kasi lahat ito magagamit natin dun sa susunod nating exercise. Ayan, pinapakita lang dito na kapag binaliktad natin yung statement, hindi natin yan pwedeng sabihin. Kasi nga, umulit lang yung conclusion. Dapat yung isa umulit siya sa hypothesis. So, mag-ingat-ingat, bawal mag-assume regarding on conclusions. Now, let's discuss how to write proofs very briefly. So, when writing proofs, there are many ways. Marami tayong paraan para mapatunayan ang katotohanan ng isang statement. And one way to prove it is to write a two-column proof. Sa left side is the statement, and the right side will have your reasons. So, bawat argument, bawat sasabihin ninyo, dapat may kaakibat yon na rason. Parang sa ano yun eh, parang sa pag may kaso yung lawyer, nor pag may pagtatanggol yung lawyer. So, kada pagtatanggol niya, dapat may ebidensya na siya ay not guilty or guilty kung siya ay prosecutor ng kaso. So, bawat statement, dapat may reason tayong ibibigay. Saan natin ibibase yung statements? We could base the statements on observations, deductions, yung napapansin natin doon na pattern na nabubuo, sa conclusions, yun nga, kasi nga makakahanap tayo ng posibleng mangyari basta bounded by the reason, your arguments, yung ating ang statements, and dapat logical sila. Next, ano ang pwede nating ipangrason? The reasons could be the definitions of terminologies used in geometry, actually in math, then the properties, basta totoo yung property na yan at hindi invento. Then eventually, we will have postulates and theorems, and also corollaries. Magkakaroon tayo ng review niyan pagbalik natin ng third quarter. So, paano yan ginagamit? So, at Learning Task 3A, we have write a two-column proof. So, dito, actually, we were using algebra here para makapag-prove. So, practice lang siya kung tutusin. Kung marunong kayo mag-solve ng value ng x, marunong na kayo mag-prove kung tutusin. Ang ilalagay nyo lang are the reasons. Ngayon, we have a statement here, or we have a given rather, odd integer m and even integer n. So, we could express actually m and n with a formula 2k where k is an integer. Medyo komplikado siya, yes. Pero again, it's mathematically convention kasi. Then, ipoprove natin na kapag pinag-multiply si m at saka si n, it will be an even integer. So, pwede natin gamitan siya ng inductive reasoning, no? Kunwari, 1 times 2. Add, tsaka even yun eh. 1 times 2, what is the product? The product is 2. Next, isip kayo ng odd integer. Sabihin natin 5. Then, isip kayo ng even integer. Let's say, 8. What is 5 times 8? That is 40. Okay? That is 40. So, that is an even. And lahat ng kukunin yung odd and even integer, the product will be an even integer. Pero, hindi natin basta-basta kasi pwedeng gamitin yung inductive reasoning when writing the two-column proof. Bakit? Kasi sobrang dami ng numbers na ililista natin. And that would not be enough to write a solid proof ng ating statement. So we could use symbols. So we write statements sa left, sa kanan ay reasons. So, paano gagawin? We always start with the given. Parang problem solving. Nagsa-start tayo kung ano yung binigay. And binigay na yung ating statement na m is equal to 2k and n is equal to 2k plus 1. So we're using symbols as statements. Pwede rin yun. Mathematical equations, rather. Ayan. So we always start with the given. So hindi lahat ng statements ibibigay, you need to formulate your own as much as possible. Siyempre, para ma-practice kayo. So kailangan daw natin i-prove kapag pinag-multiply sila, even yung sagot. So, kailangan i-multiply natin sila. So, we have m, and then sa substitute. We substitute the value of m and n when multiplying. Okay? So, we will have this one. So, naalala nyo pa dapat yung distributive property, and then, syempre, loss of exponents. 2k times 2k is 4k squared. Then, 2k times positive 1 is positive 2k. That is by multiplication. And also nga, no, distributive property. Ngayon, paano natin mapapatunayan na siya ay even integer? Ano bang alam natin sa even integer? Alam natin na lahat ng numbers na nagtatapos sa 2, 4, 6, 8, 0 are considered to be even, then because they are also divisible by 2. Kapag dinivide natin yung whole number by 2 and the answer is still a whole number, it is even. Okay? So dapat may factor tayo ng 2. So we could use that. And paano tayo kukuha ng factor? So yun nga yung sinasabi ko, no, alalahanin na huwag kakalimutan yung lesson ng first quarter kasi makakatulong pa rin iyon. So we could use factoring. How do you use factoring? It's actually reverse of multiplication. And i-reverse lang natin yung greatest common factor by the distributive property. So we factor out 2 in the right side of the equation like this. Okay, bakit meron diyang extra symbol? Yung nakikita nyo dyan na epsilon, tapos may z na doble. Again, mathematical convention siya. Nilagay ko lang para maging complete yung proof natin. Kasi again, kailangan kumpleto siya na masasabi ninyo na tama. Then, mn is an even integer. Bakit? Kasi, again, una, si m saka si n ay integer. Yun yung unang nangyari. Kapag binag-multiply nyo ba yung dalawang integer, ano yung lalabas? Integer pa rin ba? Yes, integer pa din. So, kaya tayo merong extra symbols dyan na nasa statement number 4. Ngayon, dahil integer pa rin siya, we have a property of natural numbers that we could use. So, ito yung sasabi ko kanina, dapat yung properties, theorems, postulate, meron kayong listahan kung hindi nyo kabisado. At we will provide some of them. Kung wala kayong copy, I believe na merong list yung mga modules natin. Again, it's available sa ating DepEd Commons. So, this is what we call the closure property of natural numbers. Kasi nga, to be more specific, integers. Kasi nga, pag pinag-multiply natin yung isang integer sa isa pang integer, the answer will still be an integer. And it is closed under the set of integers. So medyo higher mathematics actually yung example na ito. So I will give an extra example na wala sa module. So I hope that you have view of this. Kung hindi man, balik-balikan lang. It will be available sa ating mga websites na sinabi ni Teacher Wilbur kanina doon sa ad. So again, this is not available sa module, pero this will be a good gateway kung paano matuto ng proving. So hindi lahat binibigay dun sa proof or sa 2 columns. Left side, naka-number yung statements. Reasons, actually, we could use also numbers, pero para hindi kayo malito, we use letters, A, B, C, D, E. So, given, ayun na, binigay reason 1, given. Eh di maglagay tayo ng given. Ngayon, anong given ang gagalawin natin? We usually, again, start with the first statement. At yung first statement natin is this one. B is the midpoint of segment AC. Okay? Ngayon, statement number 2 says na yung segment AB saka segment BC, merong nakalagay na symbol dyan, equal, na merong parang N na curve or line. Ang symbol na yan, ang tawag ay congruent. Pag sabi natin congruent, they have equal measure. Pag naglalagay tayo ng equal measure, meron tayong guhit dun sa sides na ating sinasabi na equal sila. Ngayon, bakit siya equal? Ano yung reason? Ang sabi sa statement number 1, B is the midpoint of segment AC. Ano ba yung midpoint? Okay, kung hindi nyo naalala, the midpoint is actually a point where the segment is divided into two equal parts. Hence, the equal parts or equal segments are congruent. So, yun yung midpoint. So, ano yun? Ano yung sinabi ko kanina? It's actually the definition of a midpoint. Again, what's the definition? The midpoint is where, or the midpoint of a segment is where it is divided into two equal parts. And kapag equal yung parts, they are congruent. Kaya kaya natin sabihin si statement number 2. Okay? So next, isang given pa lang yung nagagamit natin. So, most probably, the third statement is the last given statement. C is the midpoint of segment BD. Okay? And ano yung reason? Nakikita nyo na that mali ako. Wait, mali. That should be what? That should be given. Bakit given? Kasi given statement siya. Ayan, ayusin ko lang. Ayan, nakita nyo na yung mga sagot. Ayan, ulitin natin. Kinopy-paste ko lang kasi. Ayan. So, ayan o. Dahil hindi pa natin nagagamit yung isang given, use this opportunity to present it. Ngayon, anong alam natin sa midpoint? Alam natin sa midpoint na merong nahahati into two equal parts. Ano yung two equal parts na yon? Ang sabi, BD. So, si BD nahahati into two equal parts. Saan yung hati? Sa midpoint, which is C. So, mapapansin ninyo dun sa illustration, segment BC and segment CD are what? They are congruent also. And that is the definition of a midpoint. Nagkakaroon tayo ng equal parts or congruent parts actually. Next, this is the last statement. Nasa conclusion na tayo. Na-prove na natin yung yung segment AB is congruent daw to segment CD. Ngayon, ano yung reason? Tulad kanina nung exercise natin, in the law of syllogism, kapag P, then Q, and Q then R, we could say na yung dalawang dulo are could be formed as a conditional statement, P then R. So, ganoon din dito sa congruence. Alam natin, lagyan natin ng laser. Ayan. Alam natin na si AB congruent daw sa BC. At si segment BC is congruent kay segment CD. Sino yung umulit? Umulit si BC. Nandun siya kumbaga sa conclusion and sa hypothesis. So we could say that segment AB is congruent to segment CD. So ang tawag natin do sa property na yon is the transitive property of congruence. And yung property na yan is very helpful sa ating susunod na mga exercises ng pagpuprove. So we have actually three properties: the reflexive, the symmetric, and the transitive. So hopefully, before we start our ETULay sessions for the third quarter, ay hindi nyo man kabisado yung mga properties na yan, you are familiar with them. Kasi the moment na we prove the statements, kailangan talaga alam ninyo yung mga bagay-bagay or may makikita kayong pattern. Again, math is not only about numbers and operations. It's actually a study of patterns, establishing rules. And yung rules na yun yung ginagamit natin sa computation. And in this case, proving. Okay? So that is our last competency for the second quarter. Hopefully, na-absorb ninyo. Kung hindi nyo man na-absorb in one sitting, pwede nyo balik-balikan yung ating ETULay sessions sa YouTube, sa ating ETU Facebook channel, sa DepEd Tayo and DepEd Philippines. Again, this is Teacher Joshua. Abangan natin si Tutor Janet for Mathematics 9 for, again, the last week of our ETULay session. See you next time and good afternoon.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hello, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Magandang hapon pala sa inyong lahat. Ngayon po ay huling linggo na ng ating online tutorial para sa Math 9. So, wini-welcome ko muli ang ating mga estudyante, ang ating mga magulang na nanonood mula sa Region 4A. Welcome po sa panibagong araw ng pagkakatuto para sa Mathematics 9. So, ako po uli ang inyong tutor. So, as you can see on your screen, nag-share na po ako ng screen, ang ating pong huling aralin para sa linggong ito ay may kaugnayan pa rin po sa radical equations. So we'll be talking about solving radical equations for this week. Okay, so ito po yung huli nating topic para sa Math 9. Okay, so pag sinabi po nating radical equation, so kailangan po natin munang, in other words, balikan ang ating mga pinag-aralan when we were dealing with equations, particularly nung lower math natin, nung grade 7. So that's why I prepared here some slides which involves drill on solving linear equations. Okay? Or also, meron din akong naisamang ilang mga quadratic equations because anyway, I assume na sa grade 9 din na pag-aralan na nyo yan. Okay? So let us have our slide. So we have for our first equation, so some of you can do this mentally. So nakikita ko sa mga active nating tuti, online tuti, na nasusolve nila yan mentally. So we have here 3x plus 5 equals 17. Ano po ang solution sa 3x plus 5 is equal to 17? Okay, so after applying some properties, so yung inverse operation, halimbawa kung plus siya, gagawin natin minus doon sa kabilang side, on both side, magkabilang side. And then kung may 3x ka, that means you will have to divide an integer so that x will be isolated. So what is our answer here? Our answer here is, okay, so wala pang nakakapag, so let's have the answer. Yan po. So, yan ay lesson kanina. Nanonood ako sa grade 7, no? Parang talagang spiral ang math, no? Equation na grade 7, ngayon naman, equation pa rin sa grade 9. Pero importante pa rin na balikan natin yung how we solve equations. So here, of course, we have to check. We plug in 4 in this equation. So 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 plus 5 is equal to 17. So therefore, we have formed an equality. Okay? For number 2, ang given natin ay 4x plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 3. So medyo mas lumevel up na yung equation number 2. Okay? So multi-step na siya talaga. So what is our answer? Okay? It's equal to negative 2. So definitely magkakaroon tayo ng negative kasi our constant here, negative 3, tapos kailangan din natin mag-subtract to isolate our variable on the left side. Normally kasi ganun tayo sa math, diba? We look into ang dapat ang mga variables ay magkakasama sa left side. So that's why we will have a negative solution for number 2. Okay? For number 3, siguro ito na huli natin. So we have 35. Okay? So some cases, pwede tayong magkaroon ng fraction sa equation, pero our answer is still a integer. So in this case, paano natin nakuha yung 35? So one step lang siya, times lang by 7. Both sides of the equation is multiplied by 7. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So meron na tayong idea kung paano mag-solve. So sabi ko nga, ang topic kasi natin ngayon ay may kaugnayan sa solving radical equation. Okay, so our objective therefore for this week is to solve radical equations. Okay, so nakita po nyo dyan yan ang ating pinaka-objective. And hopefully, if time permits, nakapag-prepare din po ako ng mga problems from the learning task number 2. And we will also apply radical equation to solve verbal problems. Okay, so part din po yun ng inyong learning task. Okay, so let's have some unfamiliar or kung mag-unlock natin yung difficulties by defining some unfamiliar terms, kagaya ng radical equation, and as we go along, you will also hear about extraneous roots. Now, what do we mean by radical equation? So, kung sabi ko nga kanina, kung nung grade 7 kayo, ang pinag-uusapan ninyo ay linear equation, ngayon sa grade 9, we are talking of a radical equation. So, a radical equation is an equation whose unknown. So, meron pa rin tayong x or n or any other letter from A to Z na gagamitin as our unknown that is found within a radical symbol or a radical sign. So recall that general rule naman yan, as you solve equations, you have to use inverse operations to solve this. Okay? So like in this case, so lahat ng mga ma-encounter natin sa na-prepare kong example are involving squaring. So for non-negative numbers, squaring and taking the square root are inverse operations. So ibig sabihin kung ang given ko ay square root, so for us to remove the square root, we need to do the inverse of that, and that is squaring. Okay? When an equation contains a variable within the square root, you have to therefore square both sides of the equation to be able to solve it. Okay? So you might be asking, tutor, hindi po ba violation yun na mag-i-square tayo ng both sides? Hindi ba magiging false yung equation or magkakaroon ng effect siya sa equation? Well, let us try to find out in the next slide. So, meron pala tayong tinatawag na principle of powers, or sa ibang book, ang tawag sa kanya is power property of equality. So, this will give us an idea that when we deal with radical equation, so it would not change anything kung ang ating pinaka-basis ay, if we have an equality, let's say A is equal to B, then when you raise both your sides of the equation to exponent, let us denote it with n, so A raised to n will also be equal to B raised to n, as long as ang foundation nito ay we have an equation in the form of A is equal to B. So this implies, therefore, that for us to be able to solve our radical equation, and that is through isolating the variable in a radical equation, we may raise each side of it to a power. Okay, so halimbawa, meron tayong, let us go back to that. Okay, meron tayo ditong 3 is equal to 1 plus 2. So when we square both sides of the equation, so in this case, napansin niyo naging 9 yung nasa left side because 3 times 3 is 9. So in the same manner, if we raise the quantity, kasi ang ating right-hand side ay binomial na 1 plus 2. So therefore, if you have to square it, that means lalagyan niyo muna siya ng parenthesis, di ba? That's very important that we will have to apply that rule. So hindi natin sabihin 1 square plus 2 square. It's not being distributed that way. So we are saying that you square the sum of 1 and 2. And the answer is also 9. So algebraically, we can already say that if A and B are real numbers, and A is equal to B, then the equation A square is equal to B square is also true. Okay, so yan po yung tinatawag natin na principle of powers. Okay, we'll be going over that time and again sa mga examples natin. Okay, let us have our first example. So let's start with a simple equation. We're asked to solve the equation square root of x is equal to 5. So, agad-agad nakita natin naka-isolate na yung radical, yung expression na merong radical, and that is square root of x. And therefore, we are ready to apply the principle of powers. And that means, kung nakikinig kayo kanina dun sa previous slide, kung square root siya, so anong gagawin natin? Okay. Meron bang sagot siyan sa mga nasa online? Okay, wala pa. So siguro, pinag-aaralan pa nila mabuti yung module. So, we are given here square root of x is equal to 5. So we apply squaring of both sides, or principle of powers. We have, therefore, square of the quantity square root of x is equal to also the square of 5. And simplifying, we have x is equal to 25. And of course, the direction says we have to check our answer. So let us check by plugging in our value, x is equal to 25. So, titingnan natin kung talagang solution nga ba yung nakuha natin. Okay? So, we check in the original equation. So, it's imperative that when we're working with radical equation, we always check doon sa ating original equation. So, our original equation is square root of x is equal to 5. So, plugging in or substituting 25 for x in the original equation, we have the square root of 25, is it equal to 5? Okay, so let us simplify. What is the square root of 25? Okay, the square root of 25 is 5. So we have here 5 is equal to 5. So we were able to prove it. So for our next example, another simple radical equation. But this time we are given 10 is equal to square root of 2x. So it's not always na nakalagay yung radical term sa left side. So like what we have here. Okay? So we have 10 is equal to square root of 2x. So ano ang gagawin natin? Nakita na natin na monomial naman sila pareho, just like our example 1. So we are ready to perform our first step. And that is to apply the principle of powers. So applying the principle of powers, that means hindi mababago yung equality kung i-square natin yung both sides. And we have 10 squared is equal to the quantity of square root of 2x squared. So, simplify natin. What is 10 times 10? Okay, 10 times 10 is 100. So, in our previous session, we have this, that if we are given square root at ang nasa labas na exponent ay 2, so we have perfect root yung ating radicand. So, pwede natin ngayong tanggalin yung radical sign. So, we have 100 is equal to 2x. Okay, and then solving further, we divide both sides by 2. So our answer is x is equal to 50, or parehas lang naman yun, symmetrically 50 is equal to x. That's the same thing as x is equal to 50. Okay, so para rin nakita nyo na hindi kailangan laging nasa left side ang unknown. Okay, sometimes like this. So let us plug in our value, x is equal to 50 in the original equation. So dapat ang ma-form natin, 10 is equal to 10. Okay, plugging in, we have to substitute square root of 50 na siya. So 2 times 50, rather, not only square root of 50, but 2 times 50. And what is 2 times 50? It is 100, and therefore we arrive at the answer, or rather, the checking, rather, is 10 is equal to 10. Okay, so some radical equations, just like what we will have in the next, do not have the terms or term that contains the radical isolated. So, meron tayong ibang cases na kailangan nating mag-perform pa ng hindi agad-agad principle of powers. We have to try, as what I said, one or more inverse operations to assist us in isolating our radical term. Okay, so let us have an example. Okay, so example 2a, I have here, again, the direction is solve the equation, and sabi ko nga kanina, paulit-ulit po natin gagawin yan. Now, when we deal with radical equation, we have to check our answer, especially if we're dealing with radical equations involving square root, fourth root, etc. Okay, so later on, explain ko po kung bakit. So, we have here square root of x, yun lang yung radical term, then minus 4 is equal to 5. Okay, what is our first step? Kapag ganyan na hindi pa siya naka-isolate, so we will have to subtract, rather, add 4 to both sides. So, inverse na po pala. So, minus 4. So, that means ang gagawin natin ay we have to add 4 to both sides. Ang tawag po natin ay addition property of equality. And that is why we have, so, na-isolate na siya, magiging 5 plus 4, the answer is 9. So, square root of x is equal to 9. And then, ngayon na naka-isolate na yung term that contains the radical symbol, we are now ready to apply squaring both sides. Okay, so squaring both sides, we have, okay, so same as kanina, we have here the square of the quantity square root of x is equal to the square of 9. Okay, so our, okay, wala pa tayong comment. So medyo inaaral pa uli ang module. By the way, ang ating module ay nag-umpisa sa page 34 ang mga questions. So you can look over those examples there. Okay, so we have x equals 81. So that is our answer. And then we check again. So ang ating bang sagot ay magja-justify yung 81 doon, or mapo-form ba natin na equality. Okay, so the square root of 81 is 9, and 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So that means we have again verified that 81 is the value of x in our example 2a. So x equals 81 is really correct. Okay, let's have for, sige, skip na natin to kasi we will have to go over those problems na magre-require sa atin ng much complex solution. Okay, let's go to example 3. Yung 3a na. Okay. Anyway, they are similar to each other. Okay. So let's have 2 square root of x is equal to 22. In some cases, we may have the option to divide first or square na agad. So I will show you that in either way, so kung method 1 mo, divide mo muna, bago mo i-apply yung principle of powers, you will arrive at a certain answer. At kapag naman nag-square ka muna bago mo simplify, you will also arrive at the same answer. So let us have 2 square root of x is equal to 22. So let us divide first both sides by 2, and we will have square root of x is equal to 11. And then, now that isolated na uli yung ating term that contains the radical, we are now ready to apply the principle of powers or squaring both sides. We have squared both sides. The answer is x equals the square of 11 is 121. Again, we check. So kahit paulit-ulit yan, dapat i-check, no? So dapat ang labas ay ganun pa rin. 22 is equal to 22. But let me show first method 2. Okay, sa slides ko pala may method 2 muna nga pala. So dito, nag-square ka na agad. Okay, so tingnan natin kung makuha pa rin natin yung answer na kagaya kanina. So we square 2 and that is equal to 4. So magiging siyang 4, the square root of x squared is x na lang. So magiging 4x is equal to 22 times 22. Okay, so dapat memorize natin yan. Mga perfect squares from when I was a teacher in grade 9, I would ask my student to memorize as much as possible kahit hanggang 1 to 20 or 1 to 25. So in this case, 22 is multiplied to itself, the answer is 484. And then, saka mo ngayon, i-divide both sides by the coefficient, and that is 4. So dividing both sides by 4, will we arrive at the same answer, 121? Let us see. 4x equals 484, dividing both sides by 4, the answer is still, okay, x equals 121. So that means method 1 and method 2 works. Okay, so may pagka-commutative yung pwedeng mauna muna yung division bago yung principle of power. As long as ganito, so let me emphasize, kasi baka isipin nyo, ay pwede pala yun. So as long as parehas na monomial na ganitong form, you will have that case na pwedeng method 1 or method 2. And then we check. So we check if 121 is really the value of x. So by plugging in, our value for x is 121. So substituting it in our original equation, we have 2 times the square root of 121, and that is 2 times 11. And 2 times 11 is equal to, okay, 22. So that means we have verified our answer. 22 is equal to 22. Okay, let's have examples of, so kagaya nung nakita nyo sa likod ko, so I have prepared there some problems from your learning task 1, wherein you're also asked to solve radical equation, particularly number 11. So merong ganitong case na radical equations are found with square roots on both sides. Okay, so actually simple lang siya, napaka-simple lang, parang to the point na nagdi-deal na rin kayo sa linear equation. Okay, so we have this case. We are regarding it as naka-isolate na yung mga radical expression on either side. Okay, so we have to now apply the principle of powers. So squaring both sides of the equation, we have the square root of the quantity square root of 2x minus 1 close quantity squared is equal to the square root of the quantity x plus 7, okay, close quantity then squared, will be our next step. Okay, and then after you square both sides, simplify. So you now have, pwede na siyang ma-eliminate yung, kasi parehas nga yung ating index at exponent. So we have 2x minus 1 is equal to x plus 7. See what I mean? So para na siyang naging lesson ninyo sa grade 7 kanina, di ba? Yung lesson ni Ma'am Rose, na you are dealing now with linear equation. So as if you're dealing with a linear equation, pag ganyang form na siya, you will apply addition property of equality or subtraction. So you now have add 1 to both sides and subtract x from both sides. That is in your effort to isolate the variable x. Okay, so isolating x, we have 2x minus x is x, and then yung negative 1 will be added to both sides. So we have 7 plus 1, combining like terms, the answer is x is equal to 8. Okay? So yan na po yung sagot. X is equal to 8. Ano nga uling sunod na step? Sabi ko, we have to check our answer. So check your answer if it will be satisfying our equation. So x is equal to 8 nga ba yung solution dun sa radical equation natin dito? Okay? So our answer is there. Okay? So obviously, we will have square root of 15 for 2 times 8 minus 1, and then nasa kabila rin square root of 15. Okay? So that means our answer is correct. Square root of 15 is equal to square root of 15 ang form natin. So check siya. Okay? Let's have okay. So similar with example 2b na siya. So let's have another one. Okay, so you can anyway, kagaya na sinabi ng previous tutors ninyo na pwede nyo siyang ma-access sa DepEd Commons, yung mga module at yung mga slides na ginagamit din namin. So after we do some QA, so pwede nyo na siyang ma-access sa DepEd Commons. So don't forget to visit our DepEd Commons for para mas ma-browse through nyo yung mga examples dito. Okay? So kasi remember, sa solving kailangan lagi tayong nagpa-practice. So practice in mathematics makes permanent. So pag alam nyo na, hindi na kayo mahihirapan. Okay, so yan. Let's go now to cases na magkakaroon nga tayo. Sabi ko nga, pag nag-i-square tayo ng both sides of equation, this may result to an extraneous root or a number that is not a solution of the original equation. So kaya kailangan, paulit-ulit natin sinasabi that we have to check. So halimbawa, we have, the original equation is x is equal to 3. Pag in-square kasi natin yan, magiging x squared is equal to 9, di ba? So ano magiging effect nun? As if we're saying that there are 2 values for x, when in fact, the original equation just states that x is equal to 3. So, in some cases na parang ganyan yung pinanggalingan, maaaring magkaroon tayo ng extraneous root or extraneous solution. Okay? Or yung sinasabi nga natin na dinefine natin kanina as a number that is not a solution of the original equation. Okay, so let me have an example of an equation with extraneous root. Isang example na lang. So we have here 12 plus square root of 6x is equal to 6. So we have 12 plus, nasa bandang gitna yung radical term, square root of 6x is equal to 6. So how will we be able to solve this? So, ang una natin gagawin, of course, is we isolate square root of 6x by subtracting 12 from each sides. So, subtracting 12 from each side of our radical equation, we have square root of 6x is equal to 6 minus 12, or square root of 6x is equal to negative 6. Okay, so, dito makita nyo na square root of 6x is equal to negative 6. Okay, so, ano mangyayari? Pag in-square natin yung both sides, magiging ng 6x is equal to 36. Diba? So, what you notice now? So, nawala yung original natin na sinasabi natin na isa lang dapat yung magiging sagot, no? 6x is equal to 36. So, isa lang naman nga yung sagot. X is equal to 6. Diba po? After dividing both sides by 6, our answer is still x is equal to 6. Okay. So now, if we check our answer, let us see what happens. So 12 plus substituting 6 for x in our original equation. So we have 12 plus 6. Ang nasa loob na magiging radical na natin instead of 6x is 12 plus 6. Square root of 6 times 6. And what is the square root of 36? The square root of 36 is 6. So, ibig sabihin, 12 plus 6 na siya. Is 12 plus 6 equal to 6? Okay. So, nakita natin na, although sinolve naman natin siya na wala tayong na-violate na procedure, sa procedure, tama naman yung procedure, pero nung chinek, yan po ang naging result. We have what we say now, an extraneous solution. Isa lang siya, pero hindi rin siya solution. So, what is our conclusion in that case? In our given example, there is no solution because 6 does not check in our given radical equation. Okay? So let's have, that's what I said, Let us have, siguro yung huling example na lang na nasa slide, then we will answer. Okay, so I'm trying to, para maabot natin yung mga problems na pwedeng masagutan natin. Okay. So we have here, a problem. Okay, a triangle has an area of 36 square feet. So we have here a triangle in the diagram whose area daw is 36 square feet. Its base is 8 feet. So as illustrated in our diagram, our dimension are the base and the height. So the base is 8, while its height is the square root of the binomial x minus 1. Okay, so for us to be able to solve for x, okay, we need to be able to find the height then, di ba? So, or vice versa. Para makuha natin yung height, kailangan nating ma-solve yung value ng x. So how are we going to do that? So we will note that the area of a triangle as a formula. So ano ang formula natin sa pag-compute ng area ng triangle, especially with this set of dimensions given na. So we will now have area is equal to 1/2 of the product of the base times the height. Okay, so makaka-form tayo ngayon ng radical equation. Okay, so we have 36. So plug in our given area, 36 square feet, and then plug in also the other given, which is the base 8 feet. So simplifying, we have 36 is equal to, what is 1/2 of 8? Okay, 1/2 of 8 is 4. So we have 36 is equal to 4 times the quantity square root of the binomial x minus 1. So kagaya nung in-explain ko, kapag ganitong form, pwede tayong mag-divide na, di ba? Kasi anyway, our sides of the equation are monomial na rin. So 36 is a monomial. 4 times this square root of x minus 1 technically is a monomial. So we can apply method 1. Divide both sides by 4. So we have 9. So if 9 is equal to the square root of x minus 1, what will we do next? Okay. So 9 is equal to the square root of x minus 1 pagka-divide ng 4. We are now going to apply the principle of powers. Squaring both sides, we have 9 will now become 81. Okay? So 9 squared is equal to the square of the quantity x minus 1. So squaring both sides, simplifying na natin siya. The answer is, okay, 81. So mawawala po, just like our previous examples na involve yung square at square root. So we have now the binomial x minus 1 as isolate as the only term found on the right side. So then again, kapag solve na natin yung x, di ba? Okay lang na nandyan yung x sa right. So 82 is equal to x. It's our answer. Okay, so we check. And the answer is true naman na makikita natin na 4 times 9, nung pinlog-in natin siya sa original natin na formula for area, so 36 talaga yung area ng triangle. So 4 times 9 is 36, therefore 36 is equal to 36. Okay, that means what is our answer? The height of the triangle is, okay, yan, balik po tayo. Okay, so may technical glitch. Yan po pag live. Let's go back. So our final answer is, therefore, bumabalik na siya. Okay, so ang ating pong sagot, the value of x is 82 and that means our height here is equal to 9. So 9 feet po ang height ng triangle. Para nga naman, 8 times 9 divided by 2 is equal to 36. Okay? Let's go now to our next slide. This time, as what I said, we will be having only one page for your learning task. Let's start with the odd numbers. Okay, we have square root of x is equal to 9. Our answer is, okay, obviously, nakita na kanina. Okay, x is equal to 81. Okay, what about in this case? So we will divide both sides by 2. So sabi ko nga, pwedeng method 1 or method 2 and then square both sides. The answer is 9 over 4. Okay, for number 5, we are given the fourth root of the square root of 3x plus 5 is equal to 8. So, in this case, similar siya dun sa example na kailangan natin mag-isolate. So, we have the fourth root of 3x is equal to 3. And then, instead of just tracing to 2, we will get the, kung i-erase natin yung 8 then sa power of 4. And we have, rather, yung 3 sa power of 4. Magiging 81. So, 3x is equal to 81. Therefore, our value for x is 27. Okay? Ayan po. So, for number 7 naman, okay, our given is the fifth root. So, pwede rin tayong mabigyan ng add ulit na fifth root of x plus, okay, there's another term, plus 5 is equal to 7. So, again, we will isolate 7 minus 5 is 2. So, the fifth root of x is equal to 2. Therefore, raise both sides to the power 5. X is equal to, the answer is, ano po? Okay, x is equal to 32. For number 9, okay, we have 8 minus the fourth root of x is equal to 7. So, again, so pwedeng in some cases, hindi laging kailangan na para maging positive na agad yung ating given. So, ibig sabihin yung 7 ang ilipat natin sa kaliwa, yung fourth root ang minus fourth root of x ang ilagay sa kanan. So, we have 8 minus 7 is equal to the fourth root of x. Magiging na siyang 8 minus 7 is 1. So, 1 is equal to the fourth root of x. So, kung 1 siya, ibig sabihin, remember that property of 1. Kahit saan mo erase ang 1, kahit kunin mo rin ang square root or fourth root or millionth root ng 1, it's always equal to 1. So, therefore, ano yung number na nandito para maging 1 pa rin siya? That means x is equal to 1. Okay, for our number 11, okay, yan po yung nakikita nyo sa screen. So, I will not write on the board anymore. Pero as what we said, pagka na-apply na natin yung squaring both sides, we will have the answer. Okay, so 2x plus 2 is equal to x plus 10. Therefore, x is equal to 8 na siya. Pag naging linear equation na siya na 2x plus 2 is equal to x plus 10. Okay, for number 13, ito yung nilagyan talaga natin siya ng step-by-step solution kasi mas complicated siya compared with the other numbers that we answered. So, for number 13, ayan po, we are given, okay, nakita rin nyo siya dyan, x plus the square root of the binomial x squared plus 3x is equal to 3x. Okay? So, what are we going to do? Ayan. So, kagaya ng in-explain ko kanina sa example 2b, kailangan natin i-isolate yung radical term. So, we have the square root of the binomial x squared plus 3x is equal to, okay, subtract both sides by x. So, 3x minus x na siya. And then, what's next? Combine like terms. Pwede pa natin masimplify yung 3x minus x. So, we have, okay, the square root of the quantity x squared plus 3x is equal to 2x. Now that we have isolated the radical term, ano na yung sunod na gagawin natin? Okay, so we will now be squaring both sides. So, application ng principle of powers, square the quantity on the left hand and also the quantity on the right hand side of the equation. So, we have, after squaring the square root of x squared plus 3x, we have x squared plus 3x is equal to the square of 2x naman po ay 4x. Diba po? Rather, 4x squared. Okay? So, we have x squared plus 3x is equal to 4x squared. So, meron na tayo ngayong na-form na quadratic equation. So, babalikan nyo yung lesson ninyo ng grade 9 first quarter. Kasi ang ating resulting equation ay x squared plus 3x is equal to 4x squared. Okay, so we will apply symmetric property. So, we have 4x squared. Pwedeng hindi na natin i-apply. So, 4x squared minus x squared plus 3x. Okay, kailangan kong baguhin yan diyan superscript. It should be 4x squared minus linear push, align po siya with this, x squared plus 3x. And then we have, by symmetric property, 4x squared minus x squared plus 3x is equal to 0. Combining again like terms. So, 4x squared minus x squared are like terms. So, we have 3x squared minus 3x is equal to 0. So how are we going to solve this equation? Recall, anong pinakamagandang method to solve an equation like this? We will be solving the equation 3x squared minus 3x is equal to 0 as if we're solving a quadratic equation by applying yung inverse ng distributive property. We will factor out the greatest common factor of our quadratic expression. So the GCF of this is 3x. So factoring out 3x, we have 3x times the quantity. It should be x minus 1. I have to correct this. So that's why the answer there is actually 3x times the quantity x minus 1 is equal to 0. And then, just like what we learned last quarter, so we have arrived at two answers, x equals 0 and x is equal to 1. Tama po ba? Okay, so so in that case, both equate, dun sa number 13, let me just go back. Pag chinek po natin yan, we will notice na parehas po silang correct answer. But in some cases, we will have to check first if both will, gaya ng number 15. Okay, so number 15 is this. So 2 is equal to the square root of x plus 5 minus another radical term, square root of x plus 1. Okay, so ano yung unang gagawin? Okay, we will square both sides and that's the answer. So we have, so ito ngayon ang pinaka-crucial, so I cannot stop from here. So kailangan po nating i-apply ang squaring A binomial. So as if we're regarding this as the first term A and as the square root of x plus 1 as the second term B. And then of course, by symmetric property, naka-isolate yung to dito, is equal to the square also of 2. So we have, okay, so kasi medyo may correction dun sa module, so I have to finish this. Okay, so our answer is x plus 5 minus 2 times the square root of x plus 5 times the square root of x plus 1 plus, okay, so ito na ngayon, so a squared minus 2ab plus, okay, x plus 1 is equal to 4. And then combining like terms, okay, yan po yung magiging sagot. Kung pag kinumbine na natin, ano ang palalabasan? Okay, we now have x plus 5, pag inad, okay, it's in the next slide po pala. Okay. Pag pinag-add na natin yon, magiging 2x plus 6 minus 2, yung ating 2ab. 2 times, we can apply the product rule. So, yung product property natin, di ba, pwedeng pag-times yung a at saka yung radical part na a tsaka b. So, magiging as 1, x squared plus 6x plus 5. Now, in this case, medyo mahaba yung solution, kailangan natin uling mag-square both sides of the equation. So, after isolating the radical term, inilipat yung 4. So, magiging 2x plus 2 is equal to, naka-isolate na siya, the 2 times the square root of x squared plus 6x plus 5. Okay? Yan na po siya. And then, after doing that, ano yung kalalabasan po? Ayan. Magiging square the binomial again. The square of this is 4x squared plus 8x plus 4 is equal to, so pag ini-square natin, yan po yung magkakalimutan. Okay. Yan na po. So, our final answer is, therefore, after zeroing out, magiging linear na po siya. So, 8x plus 4 is equal to 24x plus 20. Ang isa lang po yung sagot. Our only answer is x equals negative 1. Okay, so as what I said, kailangan po natin siyang i-check. Okay, so although mukhang quadratic siya, isa lang po pala yung sagot niya. X equals negative 1. So let us verify if we will form a equality. So negative 1, we can do it mentally. Negative 1 plus 5 anyway is the square root of 4. That is a perfect square. So 2 minus 0 na po ito, di ba? Kasi negative 1 added to its additive inverse is 0. So the square root of 0 is still 0. So 2 is equal to 2. So therefore, our answer is correct. Okay? Ayan po. So, unfortunately, ayan. So, pwede naman na kagaya ng paulit-ulit po na sinasabi namin through Sir Wilbur and Sir Jefferson, you can access this sa mga websites na binibigay po nila or platform na binigay nila. And even the slides that just need some editing, yung po mga nag-superscript kanina, so edit ko lang po siya. You can also access that through our DepEd Commons para po mas makita ninyo yung step-by-step solution for learning task number 2. Okay, so with that, akin na pong ibinibigay yung floor para sa kanyang time na po si Sir Abhill para sa kanyang tutorial for grade 10. Maraming salamat po and God bless us all. Have a nice Friday afternoon po sa ating lahat.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Yes, hello, good afternoon po muli sa lahat ng mga nanonood dito sa ating ETULay online tutorial. Kasama nyo pa rin ang inyong tutor of Hill para sa grade 10 Mathematics. So binabati po muna natin lahat, ang mga mag-aaral, ang mga magulang, ganoon din po ang mga kapwa nating guro sa buong Pilipinas, sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Isang magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. So last week na po natin para second quarter, mga grade 10 learners. Handa na ba kayo sa ating pag-aaral ngayong hapon? So, syempre simulan na natin ang ating discussion. So, syempre kasama ninyo ang inyong tutor of Hill ay tuturuan kayo para sa ating last topic for the second quarter para sa ating grade 10 Mathematics. Pero bago ang lahat para mas marami pang matuto at marami pang makapanood, huwag kalimutang i-like at i-share ang ating Facebook pages, ang DepEd Philippines, DepEd Edtech Unit, ang DepEd Tayo at ang DepEd TV. Ganun din mag-subscribe sa ating official YouTube channel, ang DepEd TV Official at Educational Technology Unit. At syempre pakidamay na rin ang ating personal page, Simply of Hill, Samal National High School Annex at DepEd 1 Bataan Production Team. So yun po, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga kasama natin ngayong hapon na ito. So, stay present lang tayo sa ating comment section para malaman natin kung sino yung mga grade 10 learners natin na kasama ngayong hapon na ito. So muli, good afternoon po at ang pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon ay solving problems involving distance formula. Kasama ninyo of course ang yung tutor of Hill para sa ating grade 10 Mathematics week 8 for the second quarter. So last week na po tayo mga grade 10 learners. Excited na ba sa 2 linggong pahinga? Siyempre mag-aaral pa rin tayo kahit na naka-rest tayo for 2 weeks, no? Okay po. So, mag-review lang tayo sa pinag-aralan natin last week. So, pinag-aralan natin, nag-define tayo ng mga ilan sa mga words na related sa ating topic, which is distance formula. So, pinag-aralan din natin last week yung distance formula, pero ngayong linggo, ang pag-aaralan naman natin ay yung pag-solve ng mga problems involving distance formula. So, ano nga ulit ang mabubuo natin mula sa word na ito or mula sa mga jumbled letters na ito? Good afternoon, sir. Maribela Trixie Tamayo, watching from Panita National High School, Province of Capiz, Grade 10. Hello po. Magandang hapon po. I-share mo na to, Maribela, sa mga classmates para sabay-sabay tayong matuto ng ating Grade 10 Mathematics. So, ang word na mabubuo natin mula sa mga jumbled letters na ito ay Pythagorean theorem. Very good. Let's have our second set of jumbled letters. Good afternoon, watching from A. Florindo National High School, Cecilia Estilio. Habang naghihintay tayo ng mga sagot sa ating comment section. And watching from Elpidio 5 Elementary School, Rosalinda Dacayo. Watching from Dado High School, Cotabato Division, Mary Grace De Castro. Isang magandang hapon po sa lahat ng mga nanonood. Okay. So, ang word na ito ay Pythagoras. Now, let's have another set of jumbled letters. Ito ay, since review lang to, medyo bibilisan natin ng konti. Pakaabang lang po tayo dahil meron pa tayong mga senior high school, meron pa tayong IELTS. Mamaya-maya lamang po yan. Ito ay distance. Yes po, good afternoon po, Sir Kia J.D. Bello, watching from Panita National High School, Province of Capiz. Ayan. Yes, kung alam niyo yung sagot sa ating jumbled letters, sulat lang tayo sa ating comment section. So review lang tayo. Again, remember that Pythagorean theorem is denoted or connotated as a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Ang formula or ang Pythagorean theorem na ito ay ginagamit sa pagsosolve ng mga sides specifically with the right triangle. Pythagorean theorem is discovered by Rufus Pythagoras in early 17th century, and this Rufus Pythagoras is actually a Greek mathematician. Jade Mabalay, watching from Peñaranda National High School. Yan, maraming salamat sa mga grade 10 students natin dyan na nanonood ngayong hapon na ito. So again, from a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, ano nga ba ang connection ng Pythagorean theorem sa distance formula? Remember, last week, pinakilala ko na sa inyo ang distance formula kung saan the distance formula is noted by or connotated by d is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 raised to the second power plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 raised to the second power. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, ang a squared plus b squared, that denotes the x and the y in our equation. While the c squared stands for the d, which is the distance in our equation. So, katulad ng paliwanag ko, yung c squared goes for the distance or the d, a squared goes for the pair of points with x's or the corresponds points that x, and y or the b squared goes for the corresponds points for y. So from the distance formula, this equation used to find the distance between 2 points. So sabi ko nga din last week, ang distance po ay sinosolve, laging kinukuha ang positive or lagi nating disregard ang negative. Why? Dahil wala namang pong negative na distance. Wala namang pumunta ka sa school ng nakatalikod. Naglakad, natulog ka ng nakatalikod. So, mula sa CR mo, pumunta ka sa iyong higaan ng nakatalikod. So, basically, lahat yan pa forward. Yes, good afternoon. Watching from Peñaranda National High School. Si Jade Mabalay. Good afternoon, Rolando Bagon Jr. And Casey De Los Rojas at si RJ Arnie Nicole De Leon. Ayun, magandang hapon sa inyo lahat. So, sabi ko, last week, pinaliwanag natin na pag-usapan natin na ang distance ay sumusukat ng layo o lapit mula dun sa iyong point of origins, dun sa iyong point of destination. Mula sa iyong pinagmulan, papunta sa iyong patutunguhan. So now, again, we can compute the distance by the use of the distance formula that is read by D is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 raised to the second power plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 raised to the second power. Tatandaan po ganon ang tamang pagbasa ng equation o ng distance formula. Okay. Now, let's have defined the coordinates. Yes, good afternoon, Sir John Steven Altoveros, watching from Panita National High School, Province of Capiz. At si Maureen Barosa. Maraming salamat sa mga great and learners natin. So, tuloy-tuloy tayo ulit. So, coordinates are the pair of points that corresponds to the origin and destination. Katulad sinabi ko, ito yung pares ng points or ng lugar kung saan ka nagsimula at kung saan ka pupunta o kung saan ang iyong patutunguhan. So for example, on the given illustration, we have the point x sub 1, y sub 1 that will serve as our point of origin and x sub 2, y sub 2 that will serve as our point of destination. So tandaan nyo that coordinates give you the point of origin and the point of destination. Now, our objective is to find the distance using the distance formula. So for example, we need to find the distance between 0.00 and 0.68. If you will notice, nakailabas ko na to rin last week. Kumbaga pinakita ko na muna sa inyo kung paano i-solve for you to at least discover kung paano nga ba natin gagawin makuha ang distance between 2 points. From the given, yes, good afternoon, Hart Dasal, watching from Panita National High School then, Province of Capiz. So from the given po, we substitute the given to the formula wherein our given will be 0.00 and 0.68. Again, the formula of distance is D is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 raised to the second power plus the quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 raised to the second power. Substituting the given, ibig sabihin, mag-assign ka muna ng value mula sa mga points natin. Pwedeng yung 0.00 will become x sub 1 and y sub 1 at yung 0.68 will become x sub 2 and y sub 2. From assigning the given points, we need to substitute the given to the formula. You will now have the quantity 6 minus 0 raised to the second power plus the quantity 8 minus 0 raised to the second power. So, nilipat lang po natin or sinubstitute lang po natin yung mga given sa formula. Yung x sub 2, siya po yung 6. X sub 1, siya naman yung 0. Y sub 2 will be 8. And y sub 1 is 0. Great and learners, careful. Kadalasan na nagkakamali tayo to get the final answer dahil nahihirapan tayo mag-substitute. Ang tip ko lang for you to have an easier or an easiest way for you to substitute is always to name the given. Wala na akong masamang bumalik doon sa basic natin. So, what is asked and then now we find the given for us to substitute the given properly to our formula. Now, perform the indicated operation on the formula. So, we have now 6 minus 0 and 8 minus 0. From there, you will have the square root of 6 minus 0 is 6, and 8 minus 0 is 8, both of them raised to the second power. Yung 6 minus 0 ay yun po, at yung 8 minus 0 ay pinakita rin dyan. Mula dyan, we need to perform the indicated operation, which is the exponential function. From 6 squared, you will have 6 times 6, that will give you 36. From 8 squared, you will have 8 times 8, that will give you 64. Next, we need to combine or we need to just simply add the numbers that retained inside the radical symbol. That will give you 36 plus 64. Therefore, the answer will become square root of 100. So square root of 100 will become your distance. So D is equal to 10, getting the square root of 100. Natatandaan po mga great and learners at sa lahat ng mga nanonood. So that is the same example that we had last week. So pinakita ko lang ulit sa inyo para kahit pa paano ma-recall ninyo kung ano ang process ng paggamit ng ating distance formula. So sabi natin, from our given, x sub 1 is equal to 0, y sub 1 is equal to 0, x sub 2 is equal to 6, y sub 2 is equal to 8, you will now have the distance is equal to 10. Now let us observe the given illustration on your screen. May makikita kayo diyang bahay, may makikita kayo diyang park, at may makikita kayo diyang school. Our task this afternoon is to find the distance between house and the park, house and the school, and park and the school. So how are we going to analyze the given? Again, we just simply use the distance formula. So good afternoon, John Paulo Ordruña, watching from Panita National High School, province of Capiz. The question is, Tutor Avhil, paano ko ngayon isosolve yung distance mula sa bahay papunta sa school, mula sa bahay papunta sa park, at mula sa park papunta sa school? Well, syempre, kulang ang ating given sa illustration. Kung mapapansin ninyo, di ba, lahat naman kayo nakakita na kayo ng ating mga mapa, nakakita na kayo ng ating globo. Di ba meron tayong longitude saka latitude, at meron tayong yung sa graphing paper natin, dito ginagamit yung mga coordinates. Kaya kung halimbawa, mag-engineer kayo, magpapilot kayo, dito yung saan magla-landing, ito ilan yung distance, ano yung point of position nito. So, doon ginagamit yung mga yon. So, lalagyan natin ng mga coordinates. Example, on our illustration, our coordinate for house is 0.43. So, kung sa mapa titingnan, ang coordinate point ng house ay nasa spot siya ng 0.43. While the school is on the coordinate point of -2, 8. Again, the coordinate point of -2, 8. And the park has the coordinate point of 3, -4. Again, the coordinate point of the park is 3, -4. So now we are complete. Alam na natin yung mga coordinate points ng bawat location. Our objective is to look for the distance between the house and the park, the house and the school, the distance between the school and the park. Kaya na? Ready? Simulan na natin. Pwede kayong maglabas ng yung mga papel, mga ballpen, at calculator na din para kahit paano ay masundan nyo ako sa pagsusolve. Tingnan natin mamaya kung tama ang inyong mga sagot. Handa na ba? Let's start. Mula sa ating mga given points ng house or coordinate point ng house of 43, coordinate point ng school na -2, 8, and coordinate point ng park na 3, -4, sisimulan natin kuhanin muna ang distance between house to park. Sabi kanina, from the given points for 3 and 3, -4, our objective is to assign the value by the name x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Dahil nauna ang ating 43 sa ating given, so ang x sub 1 natin will be 4 at ang y sub 1 natin will be 3. Pangalawang coordinate point ay 3, -4. They will stand as x sub 2 and y sub 2. Ano ulit ang first step? Substitute the given to the formula. Ano ulit ang formula? D is equal to the square root of quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 raised to the second power plus quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 raised to the second power. Substituting the given to our formula, you will now have the square root of the quantity 3 minus 4 raised to the second power plus the quantity -4 minus 3 raised to the second power. performing the indicated operation inside the groupings or the parentheses. From there, you will now have the square root of the quantity negative 1 squared plus the quantity negative 7 squared. 3 minus 4 is equal to negative 1. Negative 4 minus 3 is equal to negative 7. Doon nakuha yung ating mga sagot or result na nasa second line ng distance formula. Now you perform the exponential function. Negative 1 times negative 1 will become 1, and negative 7 times negative 7 is equal to positive 49. From there, you will have to add 1 plus 49. Therefore, the answer will become D is equal to the square root of 50. Remember last week, I told you not to simplify the radical yet. But for this afternoon, isi-simplify na natin ang radical because we're already dealing with the final answer in a situational analysis or in a problem solving. If you will notice, the answer will become D is equal to the square root of 50, or the distance is equal to the square root of 50. Para ma-simplify mo ang radical, i-check mo muna if you have a pair of factors wherein ang isa sa kanila ay perfect square. Sa 50 po ba ay merong factors na ang isang factor ay perfect square? Correct. Ang factor ng 50 na perfect square ay 25. So there is a factor of perfect square which is 25 and 2. For you to simplify, dahil may factor ka na perfect square na 25 at 2, magiging square root of 25 times 2. But since ang 25 mo ay perfect square, the final answer will become D is equal to D is equal to 5 square root of 2. Paano po nakuha? Yung 25 natin, kinuha ang square root nun at 5 square root of 2. So the square root of 25 is 5, kaya nalabas na natin siya sa radical symbol, at natira pa ang 2, kaya naging 5 square root of 2. May question po? If you have any question, do not forget to ask questions on our comment section at pilitin nating sagutin ang mga tanong ninyo bago matapos ang ating tutorial session for grade 10 mathematics. Now let's have compute distance between house to school. Good afternoon, watching from Peñaranda National High School, Mary Ann Lanigao. So ito yung sinabi ko, let us assign first names to our given 4, 3, and negative 2, 8. Since sa unang 4, 3, ang our x sub 1 will be 4, y sub 1 is equal to 3. For negative 2, 8, ang ating x sub 2 is negative 2, ang ating y sub 2 is equal to 8. Substitute the given to our formula. We will have the distance is equal to the square root of negative 2 minus 4 raised to the second power plus 8 minus 3 raised to the second power. Performing the indicated operation, you will have negative 2 minus 4, both of them are negative. So 2 plus 4 is 6. You copy negative sign, so negative 6 squared. 8 minus 3 is 5 squared. You perform the exponential function here, evaluate exponential function, you will have 6 times 6 or negative 6 times negative 6 is equal to 36, and 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Yes, good afternoon, watching from Biwang Central School, Daisy Galapino Lagarto. And to combine these two given by adding 36 and 25, the answer will become square root of 61. Ang tanong ko, meron bang factors si square root of 61 o yung 61 mismo na perfect square? Kung ang sagot nyo ay wala, kayo ay tama. So the final answer will be square root of 61. So the distance between house to school is equal to the square root of 61. Question? Again, kung may mga tanong po, isulat lamang sa ating comment section at pipilitin nating sagutin yan bago matapos ang ating tutorial session. Isulat na rin pala ang hashtag ETULay 2021, hashtag tutor of Hill at hashtag ETULay Math Tutor of Hill. Ayan. Mag-post na kayo ng mga pictures niyo habang, mga selfie pictures niyo habang nagkaklase tayo para naman meron tayo mga ano dyan. At try natin i-post yan by next week. So ngayon naman alamin natin ang distance mula sa school to park. So from the given points negative 2, 8, and 3, negative 4, again, we assign names to our given. Our x sub 1 here will become negative 2, and y sub 1 here will become 8. X sub 2 is equal to 3, and y sub 2 is equal to negative 4. So again, we substitute the given to our formula. You will have now the distance is equal to the square root of 3 minus negative 2 squared plus the quantity negative 4 minus 8 squared. Ulitin ko po sinubstitute lang natin ang ating given sa ating formula. Huwag malilito. From substitution, we need to perform the indicated operation by simply combining the different terms inside the group or the parentheses. 3 minus negative 2 will become 1 squared, and negative 4 minus 8 will become negative 12 squared. From the given, you will have d is equal to 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And negative 12 times negative 12 is 144. Therefore, the distance is equal to square root of 145. So, the square root of 145, ang ulit kong tanong ay, meron po bang given or meron bang factor mula sa ating 145 na number ay perfect square? Kung ang sagot nyo muli ay wala, kayo po ay tama. Ibig sabihin po ang ating final answer, the distance between school to park is the square root of 145. Now let us analyze again the given illustration. So from the point 43 of the house, mula po sa coordinate point ng bahay na 43, sa coordinate point ng school na negative 2, 8, at coordinate point ng park na 3, negative 4, ang distance mula po sa ating bahay papunta sa park ay 5 square root of 2. Ang distance mula naman sa ating park, mula sa ating school hanggang park, pasensya na, medyo nakaikot. Ayos natin yan maya-maya. Okay, wait lang. I square root of 145. At ang distance naman mula sa ating bahay, papunta sa ating paaralan ay square root of 61. Yes, good afternoon po, Mabel Manalo from Peñaranda National High School, at Annie Moreno, Voyage, Mark Conanan, at Mary Ashley. Pare-pares po ba tayo nakuha ng distance mula sa bahay papunta sa park, mula sa bahay papunta sa school, at mula sa school papunta sa park? Tama ba ang mga nakuha niyong distance? Now, subukan natin. Let us try. From the given points 4, negative 2, and 2, 1, find their distance. Again, the first thing that we need to do is to name the given. Our x sub 1 is equal to 4. Y sub 1 is equal to negative 2. X sub 2 is equal to 2. And y sub 2 is equal to 1. Let us check. By substituting the given. Okay, so anong magiging sagot? You will now have d is equal to the square root of the quantity 2 minus 4 raised to the second power plus the quantity 1 minus negative 2 raised to the second power. So habang nag-a-analyze pa kayo dyan, sabayan nyo ako mag-solve. Batiin din muna natin si Mary Ashley Doc Cave Cabe from Cabanatuan City. Sorry, hindi ko na-pronounce na maayos yata yung apelido mo. Performing the indicated operation inside the parentheses, you will have 2 minus 4 and 1 minus negative 2. You will have now the distance is equal to the square root of negative 2 squared plus 3 squared. Our next step is to perform the exponential function wherein we will have negative 2 times negative 2 will become 4, and 3 times 3 will become 9. Add the given 4 plus 9, you will have the square root of 13. So therefore, the distance is equal to the square root of 13 simply because wala pong factor ang 13 na isang perfect square. So that is already in the simplified form. So the final answer is D, or the distance is equal to the square root of 13. Nasundan po ba? Let's have another example. From the given points 5, 2, and 6, 7, find their distance. So again, we need to name the given wherein x of 1 is equal to 5 and y sub 1 is equal to 2. X of 2 is equal to 6 and y sub 2 is equal to 7. Substituting our given to our formula, you will have D, or distance, is equal to the square root of 6 minus 5 raised to the second power plus 7 minus 2 raised to the second power. Performing the indicated operation on this given, 6 minus 5 is 1, 7 minus 2 is 5. D is equal to the square root of 1 squared plus 5 squared. Distance is equal to 1 plus 25, or square root of 1 plus 25. Combining 1 and 25, you will have now D is equal to the square root of 26. Again, nakasimplify na po kaya? Okay, so that is correct. It is already in the simplified form. Therefore, the answer is the square root of 26. Now, let's do the fast math. Dahil po, patapos na po tayo. Sana natuto kayo ng distance formula natin. By the way, madali lang naman maging process ng distance formula natin. If you can also solve it mentally. Ang tip ko lang doon is parang you try to subtract muna yung x, tapos subtract agad yung y, and then you get the square of the difference, and then you add, and then that's it. That's already the distance formula. So, ituturo ko sa inyo yan sa susunod nating pagkikita, mga great and learners, kasi gagamitin pa rin natin ang distance formula para sa ating third quarter. So, what is the square root of 100 ulit? Sige nga, tingnan natin ang mga sagot. Remember that our square root have two equal roots, or two positive and negative roots. However, in distance, we're just getting po yung positive. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga, kapag nakakuha ka ng negative result sa pagko-compute ng distance, ibig sabihin, medyo may mali ka sa naging proseso. Bakit? Wala kasing negative na distance. Dahil lahat tayo pasulong. Lahat tayo pa forward. So, we're moving forward. Kaya lahat yan is positive. Good afternoon, sir. Mary Grace Diaz, watching from Panita National High School, Province of Capiz. Ang sagot ni Madeline Besa, Cecil Estilio, at Maribela Tamayo ay 10. Correct. The answer is positive, negative 10. Enor Del Castillo, tama po ang iyong sagot. Now, let's have square root of 144. Mary Grace Diaz, tama din yung sagot. Okay, so let's reveal the answer. The answer must be positive, negative 12. So, ang nasa utak ninyo ay positive, negative 12, mga great and learners, tama pa ang iyong sagot. Very good. Medyo bibilisan na natin dahil susunod na maya-maya lamang ang ating senior high school at ang ating IELTS. How about fast math question number 3, square root of 49? Mary Ashley, tama ang iyong sagot. Madeline Besa, tama ang sagot. That's 12, correct? Very good. Maribela Tamayo, very good. 12 po ang iyong sagot. Okay, now how about square root of 49? What will be the answer? The correct answer is positive, negative 7. Correct. 7 times 7 is 49. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. So the answer is positive, negative 7. Correct. Now let's have square root of 81. Tama ka, Madeline Besa, Cecilia Estilo. Correct ang sagot mo kanina sa 7. Sila Enor Del Castillo, tama rin ang iyong sagot. Very good. Mary Grace Diaz, very good. Congratulations guys ha, magagaling. So tingnan natin, kung ang sagot mo ay positive, negative 9, tama po ang iyong sagot. Mary Ashley, congratulations, tama ang iyong sagot. Tingnan pa natin mga ibang sagot maya-maya. Madeline Besa, tama rin ang iyong sagot. How about square root of 121? Marivela Tamayo, Cecilia Estilo, tama ang sagot mo kung 9. Yan, very good ka. Sa sagot mo kanina. Good afternoon, watching from Lawan Elementary School Division of Danao City, Cebu, si Faye Hermosillia Parawan. Yes, hello, magandang hapon. Henry Del Castillo, tama rin ang sagot. Square root 121, let us reveal the answer. The correct answer is 11. Positive, negative 11, tama ang iyong sagot. Kajida Gasgasalak. Louis Alfonso, tama ang sagot mo kanina sa 9. Marivela Tamayo, Madeline Besa at Cecilia Estilo, Mary Grace Diaz at Mary Ashley, tama rin ang iyong mga sagot. Good afternoon po from Karen Pedrano Navidad and Daryl Speleta. Good afternoon, watching from JACSCSDT. Square root of 169. Sulat lang ang sagot. Your 10 seconds. Okay, time is up. The answer is positive, negative 13. So, ang positive, negative 13 ang sagot mo, you are correct. Very good. Let's have second fast math question. Square root of 225. Tama, Kajida Gasgasalak, Madeline Besa. Correct ang mga sagot. Marivela, tama ang sagot mo. Cecilia, correct ang sagot mo. Mary Ashley, correct. Very good mga grade 10 learners natin So the answer will be positive, negative 15. So ang tamang sagot, or kung ang sagot mo ay 15, tama po ang iyong sagot. How about square root of 1? Mahirap Tingnan nga natin. The correct answer is positive, negative 1. So, ang 1 po ang sagot mo, tama po ang iyong sagot. How about positive or square root of 36? Good afternoon to all. Annabel R. Daig Kalaisa, National High School, Kidapawan City Division. Magandang hapon. Tama ang sagot, Cecilia Estilo, Pauline Marivela. Tama rin ang mga sagot ninyo. Okay, now let's have grade 6 from Lazaro Francisco Integrated School, Cabanatuan City. Ayan. Ang tamang sagot ay 6. Positive, negative 6. So, kung tamang sagot mo, very good ka doon. Correct. Now, let's have square root of 16. Okay, let's see. Ang mga sagot natin dyan bago tayo magsipagpaalam. Okay. So, positive, negative, 4. Correct ang iyong mga sagot kung tama po ang iyong mga kasagutan. Very good. Now, so that's the end of our tutorial session, mga grade 10 learners. Napag-aralan natin ang ating distance formula or solving problems involving distance formula. Ganyan din ang pagsisimplify ng radical expression or sa ating mga final answers. So remember lang po na pag nag-simplify tayo, kailangan lang na laging merong factor or partner na perfect square. Ganyan din naman, para malaman natin na tama ang sagot sa proseso natin sa distance formula, kailangan maging positive ang ating sagot. Dahil pag negative ang nakuha ninyong resulta, ay malamang may mali kayo sa naging proseso nun. So do not forget again to like and share ang ating mga DepEd Facebook pages, ang DepEd Philippines, DepEd Edtech Unit, DepEd Tayo at DepEd TV. Ganoon din po, mag-subscribe na po tayo sa ating YouTube channel, ang DepEd TV Official at ang Educational Technology Unit. Paki-like na rin po at paki-share ang aking personal page, ang Simply of Heal, Samal National High School Annex at DepEd TV One Bataan Production Team. So, kita-kita po ulit tayo next week. Maraming salamat po. Maging positibo lamang tayo sa buhay, katulad ng distance. Be positive always. Ingat po. Bye-bye. Paalam.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!